And we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP. We're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire is to help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love, and help amazing designers find great players who love their games. We do that in a lot of different ways, but one of the main ways we do it is actually just sitting down with designers to play their games and share them with you, see if it's something you want to dive into. And that is what we are doing today. Today we are playing Rockets to Russia. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the designer of that game and have them tell you a little bit about who they are and what the game we're going to play is all about. And that is John Hambone McGuire. John, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also tell us about Rocket to Russia.
Fantastic. Tony, thanks for having me. I am John Hambone McGuire. I am the co-host of the Vintage RPG podcast. I am also the the co-writer and co-creator of 321 Action. Today, we're going to be playing our first adventure, Rocket to Russia. Now, 321 Action is a cinematic storytelling game really focused on story and fun over physics. So this is the kind of thing you could sit down at a table or virtually with your friends on any given night, tell any kind of story that you want to tell, whether it's a weird Western, a heist, fantasy, you got it. You just have to let us know what you want to do for some action. So this adventure is called Rocket to Russia. It's our very first adventure. This is a cinematic sci-fi survival RPG adventure.
Awesome. I am super excited to play, super excited to dive into it. Let's meet the other two people we are playing with. We've got a double Alex day. I'm super excited. So let's first meet Alex on the bottom of the screen for everybody, who we're just going to be calling Alex for our time today. Alex, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also what it's like to be back in the U.S. right now, because you're usually in Spain.
Okay, I couldn't tell if I was Alex on the bottom.
I know, that's why I was adding some extra details to 100% land, which Alex I was talking about.
Well, to answer that, it's really cool and really weird to be back in the U.S. because, yeah, I am based in Madrid, but not for the summer. My name is Alex Kingsley, and I am a writer, comedian, game designer, all those fun things. I work with a company called Strong Wrench Productions, and we have a podcast, a sci-fi comedy called The Stench of Adventure. You can find me. Oh, we also have a new podcast where we play games. So if you're watching this and you like games, you can listen to the show where we invite other podcasts to play games with us. It's called Strong Branching Out because of the name of the company. And you can find me on the internet as Alexy Quest. That's like Galaxy Quest, but it's my name. Pretty much anywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr, what have you. Yeah.
You would have also been embarrassed for me last night, and I need your help right now because I still can't remember it because I didn't look it up. What is the name of the Spock-ish character in Galaxy Quest? The guy with the like mask on his. Do you not know? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. It's the Rainn Wilson character, right?
Oh, okay.
No, not the Rainn Wilson character.
Oh.
The actor.
It's oh god, what's his name? It's by Grobthar's hammer.
Yeah.
Rickman. It's Alan Rickman.
Oh, the Alan Rickman character.
The Alan Rickman character.
Oh, I thought you were okay, yeah.
Do you know their name?
No.
I'm gonna look it up. We're gonna solve this problem once and for all.
I know the actor.
Right.
The actor in the not Alan Rickman, but the actor in the movie is named Alex.
Okay.
Because I remember being like, I'm Alan Rickman.
I also had that reaction.
That's fine. It was totally because we were playing a sci-fi game last night where there was a character called the Verdant Mystic that was kind of inspired by Spock, but mostly inspired by that character, actually. And so anybody who wants to look up the name of that actor's full name, not Alan Rickman, but the actor that they play, as well as the character on the show, muchas gracias. Drop it in the chat. With that said, let's pop up to our Alex Murray. Our Alex Murray, one of my top 26 favorite Alex Murrays, who we're just going to be calling Murray for this one. Tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online.
I'm those things. I'm our Alex Murray. I am a actor, comedian, podcaster. I guess I get to add game designer to that because Tony and I wrote a supplement for a thing. And a jack of many nonsenses. I play music and do lots of nonsense. Yeah, I'm also the artistic director of the Missing Sock Podcast Network. You can check out all of our shows. We've also got a very fun RPG show called The Flores Dungeon with monthly one-shots and nonsense. Or you can check out my podcast, Child's Play, where we're listening, God help us, to every Kids Bop album in a row. We're about to hit 30. My brain is melting. And we talk about them, and then we re-record and fix the songs to make them more appropriate for kids. We tackled WAP. I mean, yeah, we're having fun over there.
No small feat, huh?
No small feat at all. It's really getting tough. We you know how when you start a journey, you're not sure where it's going to take you. Hell, directly into hell.
That's
the answer for
you know
this
what are role playing games but a journey we undertake, not knowing. Where
Yeah,
we're gonna end up.
absolutely. Like Buddha. Hey, thanks, guy. I did take the first step, and the other 10,000 went to hell.
Today we're going to dive in just one moment, but we always use safety tools here on the channel, and actually Rocket to Russia does a really good job of introducing those. Also, John did a phenomenal job because we actually like to have the conversation 3 times, though we only did it twice this time. Once, we like to usually have it in chat beforehand, giving people plenty of time to think about it. 2, right before we go live, just in case there's something you don't want to have to say on air, don't want to have to necessarily get into as much or feel the performative pressure about. But we also do like to have the conversation in air because we think it's good. It's a good thing to give people another chance to have that, as well as to let y'all know who what you can expect from the adventure. We always have a strong line against sexual content here on the channel, but that said, everything else, we like to open up the floor to a conversation about lines, veils, and a rule called the X card, which is the ability at any point in time to stop play and say, hey, we need to pause. Veils are things we kind of move through quickly, and lines are things that just don't come up in the game. With that said, John, why don't you give people kind of a little bit of an insight about what they can expect from the game we're going to play, and then we can whip around and see if anybody wants to add any more lines and veils.
Very cool. So Rocket to Russia is an 80s style action movie RPG, 80s, 90s. Lots of violence, lots of gore, blood, guts, maybe some chainsaw body horror in there, depending on how far we get into the game today. My content warning, that's pretty much covers like what you're going to see in this game. For me, lines that we won't cross, no sexual abuse, no animal abuse, no elder abuse, no child abuse, nothing racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, ableist, misogynistic. We want everyone to have fun. We want everyone to feel safe and comfortable during this game.
You've seen 80s action movies, right?
Yeah. So it just take like 40% off the top and just keep all like the violence and like the cheesy one-liners.
Keeping the good parts.
That's where we're going to land today.
Awesome.
I want everyone to have fun. I want everyone to feel safe and comfortable, and especially like, don't be shy about saying those fun lines.
Reviews from the tub has come in for a strong, naming both Alan Rickman right off the bat when we were first talking about it, but also Alexander Dane, who plays Dr. Lazarus on Galaxy Quest. Just FYI. We're all cut up now. Thank you, reviews from the tub, for
thank you
releasing us from that mental trap that we had.
This is so embarrassing for me.
And so, yeah, I mean, I love that I brought it back around, put you on the spot, just to watch you fail. I super apologize for that. But you know what? We're all free now, and that's what's important.
We all know the truth.
With that said, John, I'm going to just hand things over to you to take us into the game.
All right, fantastic. So this is going to be fun. Welcome to Rocket to Russia. We're going to start with episode 1. It's called Don't Rock the U-Boat, Baby. So the date is October 4th, 2005, 0500 hours. You have 12 hours until extraction. So what is happening now? We're going to get into a little bit more of the story so you understand where you're at and why you're going where you're going. But first, one of the things that we love to do in 3-2-1 actions, encourage people to fill out their own backstories. And so what we're going to actually do is we're going to start by going through everybody. I want you to tell the viewers who your character is, and then I'm going to ask you a question to have you interact with one of the other characters. So let's start with you, Tony. Tell us about your character.
So yeah, I am playing a rehash of one of my favorite original GURPS characters, and that is Severin the Crane Smith. Severin is a like 5'2", fairly wiry individual who was raised in the circus by Slavic immigrant performer parents. He was an expert acrobat and escape artist who joined the army to gain citizenship, worked his way up to being kind of an infill exfil specialist, fairly pale individual, dark hair, dark eyes, kind of swarthy, a little hairy. What other information is good to know?
Very cool. Murray, why don't you tell us about your character?
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Chuck Seagal, notorious sensei who grew up training under, if you ask him, all of the greatest kung fu masters alive, living and dead. He is probably about 6'1" and thinks, okay, all right. Imagine Riff Raff from the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Ryu from Street Fighter combined into one guy, right? So we've got
Seagal, like 2021.
Yes, absolutely. This is yes. I'm a half Chuck Norris, half Steven Seagal, all dickhead. And yeah, man, it's just like the bald guy, blonde ponytail, and like the stubbly beard, and like always a karate gi, never shoes. I don't need shoes. My feet are like iron. And yeah, like no sleeves, but like perfectly ripped off. Like he took scissors and like cosplay cut like rip. Like they look like his sleeves look like the bottom of like a 9-year-old's pirate pants costume, right? Just like perfect triangles. And of course, 2 black belts, 2, just to let you know. Yeah.
Very cool and very dangerous. Alex, why don't you tell us about your character?
All right. I'm playing Johnny Slimeboy Johnson. Back in his day, he was the smoothest jazz singer in Nebraska, which made him think he was a really big celebrity because there were not a whole lot of smooth jazz singers in Nebraska. He thinks that his nickname came from just how slick and suave he is, but in actuality, people call him that because he is very moist. He's just a very sweaty guy. He always wears a suit, even during his military days. He is always wearing his suit, and it's always just a little bit wet. And the reason he got involved in all this in the first place is one day he was at one of his jazz shows, and there was a heckler in the audience, and he got into a fight, and he realized he is so good at fighting people. Maybe he should give this a shot. But the truth is, jazz is still his one passion.
I love it. I'm going to tell you, this is not what I imagined Larry Hama had in mind when he was writing G.I. Joe back in the day, but this is better than I could have ever imagined and hoped for. So let me tell you, this is scene 0 before the credits. You sit back and listen to the gentle nuclear hum resonating through the bulkheads of the USS Seawolf mini-sub. It's hot in here, real hot. And there's no room for luxuries either. No AC, no stereo, no portholes, not even a captain. This sub is automated and self-driving, only used in missions where secrecy is paramount. So you all don't really know each other at this point, but some of you do know each other. So I'm going to list a place off, and I want you to tell the viewers a little bit more about what happened there. I'm going to start with you, Tony. I want you and Murray to tell us about Pueblo 2001.
Oh,
Pueblo
rough.
2001. Oh, I remember it well. We started as you would expect outside of Pueblo. We're on a movie set though. I think this is does Chuck Seagal also spend time in addition, like downtime in the movies or around the movies?
Every once in a while somebody wants to point a camera at me and give me some money for it, and that's cool with Chuck.
And I had been brought in on what I thought was just a simple consulting job. That is until the ninjas showed up. And so it turned out that one of the props on the movie was actually a powerful ancient artifact that was going to be twisted to unleash interdimensional horrors on the populace of Pueblo, and
But
Chuck and I had to stop it.
nobody stands between Chuck Segal and a rap party, so we had to take those ninjas down.
I love it.
When I start a job, I finish it.
All right. Alex and Murray, why don't you tell me about Granada when Slime Boy met Chuck?
Well, it gets really stressful being adored by so many loving fans for your charisma and charm. So Slime Boy, he needed to take a little vacation. So he was vacationing in the hot sun. He was tanning.
And one thing you got to know about Chuck Segal, he loves smooth jazz. He can't get enough of it. And I was on assignment there in Granada, and also getting a tan because you got to keep these upper arms super buff. And who should I see tanning on the beach with one of my great idols? I had to introduce myself.
I love it. All right, we're gonna do
so we just had a really good time. It was great.
Yeah, we just vibed. It
was totally chill. We didn't even know we were both in the army or right?
Yeah.
We had a great night. We drank all those Mai Tais.
In fact, once we saw each other again in the army, we were like, whoa!
No way! You're on the sub too? This is incredible. I didn't even know. I just thought you were my favorite smooth jazz musician.
Yeah, I thought you were just some random karate guy who approached me on the beach that one time.
I mean, that must happen to you all the time. I didn't want to be rude.
Oh, it does. It does.
Oh, we'll do one more. Tony, why don't you tell us about when Severin met Slime Boy, Super Bowl 41, where Prince blew the roof off Dolphin Stadium?
Dude, it was so good. Oh my God, I can't. Now I'm just gonna think about that all day.
I was in the audience, and when they told me that Slime Boy was going to be performing at the halftime show, my response was, "Who are you talking about?" And so I did have some VIP backstage passes, so I think we bumped into each other at one of those very commonly known about, everybody knows about them, Super Bowl after parties.
Yeah, of course.
Goes to. So that's how that's where we bumped into each other over some shrimp canapes.
Yeah, and Slime Boy was like, "Oh, another fan. I know. I was the star of the show today."
And I was still, even after the show, was like, I don't know who you are. And so that was the beginning of a very indifferent relationship that each of us, I think, has a very different perspective on.
Oh, all right. So now that we've got some of your history, there are two members of the team none of you know about. They're sitting on opposite sides of the sub, so far apart, in fact, that they surely must know each other. You've been told that one of them is the point man on this mission, and his call name is Dag Nasty. From what you can tell, the name fits. Your orders are to obey his commands, and the other guy is codenamed Scorpion. Wham! The sub jolts violently, and something hits the hull hard enough to shove out of your seat. The nuclear hum cuts out as the sub stops. It's quiet for a brief moment before you hear something scratching at the entire length of the outside walls. A tearing sound vibrates your molars. Whatever it is, it's got to be man-made, because nothing in the ocean is strong enough to rip the special titanium alloy Uncle Sam used. Before you can even make a move, Dag Nasty holds out his hand with his palm facing down. It means stand down. You stand down. Just as suddenly as it started, the noise stops. Now, while everyone looks at each other nervously, Dag Nasty stands up to give the mission briefing. This is our mission objective. Eliminate the Jade Sniper. He's ex-Spetsnaz, Russia's most elite special forces, known for their intense training and mental fortitude. The Jade Sniper was one of their best, but he went rogue. Now he's raising hell all over Point Nemo and ratcheting up tensions between us and Russia. But taking out one rogue agent isn't the reason for all this secrecy. So Dagnassi passes out mission folders to all of you. The first document is a glossy photo of a few soldiers having a good time. In that group, there is one that stands out. He's got a look of smoldering intensity. This is the Jade Sniper. When you flip to the next page of the folder, you see a photo of a 6-foot-tall fish-human hybrid, Amphicora. You turn and look at Scorpion. It's the first time you've heard his voice. Down the Kura River, we were told stories of children being drowned at night if they snuck outside. The Amphicora. Do bullets kill them? Asks one of the soldiers, codenamed Red Shirt, as he calmly slides a magazine into his M9. Yes, their physiology is remarkably human, so that shouldn't be a problem, Dagnassi says. He places a hand on Scorpion's shoulder and gives him a quick nod and what you think might be a smile. Point Nemo itself is said to have pockets of radiation in various locations, so make sure you pop an iodide pill if you start to lose your cool. You savvy? Sir, yes, sir, the squad shouts in unison. Dagnassi nods with approval and returns to his brief. Other than the island being riddled with the Amphicora and the fact that it is also said to be slightly irradiated, it is mission critical that we stay on task and take out the Jade Sniper. The team will have 12 hours to complete this objective and make it across the island to the extraction point on your map, where the Sea Wolf will be waiting. It's leaving with or without you. So you can feel the sub pressurized as if it's hitting the surface. There must be some mistake, you think, because according to the coordinates, the sub should still be underwater. The familiar nuclear hum stops again and the hatch opens. Dagnassi motions for you to exit. Once you get out of the sub, you hear someone say, I guess the can of sardines we ordered just arrived. Welcome to the island, ladies and gentlemen. Step back and I'll open her up for you. So you pop your heads out of the hatch and you see a moon pool. This is a 50 by 50 underground converted airplane hangar. It's complete with 2 docking stations for mini subs, a 20 by 50 loading dock, and a 10 by 20 ship's dock running down the middle of the pool to the left of the sub where you're in. There's a large bank vault style door in the north wall, which is currently closed. Above the door is a security camera, and you could hear its gears grind as it slowly swivels. Next to it's a big speaker that looks like something you'd see in an old church or supermarket. So the loading dock, as well as the rest of the structure, is securely built with steel, while the dock leading to the subs is made of wooden planks like a traditional dock. And you can actually feel it gently move with the motion of the water. The air here is stale, a humid mixture of salt water and pennies. There's a slimy sheen on everything. What do you want to do?
Is there like somebody that looks like they're in charge?
No, all you see when you pop your head out the sub is that door. And you see the dock out there, you see the camera, you see the speaker, but it's the water is just kind of swishing back and forth. The sub is kind of moving gently from side to side because it is in water. When you look up around you, you are in an airplane hangar, seemingly in the middle of the ocean.
Like clamber up on the hole and like slide down the ladder onto the gangplank down below.
Okay. Are you the first one going down?
I guess so.
All right. Steve and Yuri slide down behind you, and they start walking towards the door. Who's going next?
I'll go.
Okay. And then Murray, you're going to be going after Alex.
Yeah, but I do it cool. He jumps off it. He jumps off and does a blade landing for no apparent reason on the.
You
on
do
the
the
dock.
superhero.
Yeah.
And you've landed. All right, and then right behind you is Red Shirt taking up the rear. Red Shirt is, if you've ever seen Eastbound and Down, just imagine Kenny Powers.
Yes.
Right. So Red Shirt is like you and Red Shirt. You know,
I want to
got
change
on
my character.
famously with the sub. Red Shirt's got the mullet. He's got the Oakley wraparound Oakleys, but they're currently on the back of his head and not in the front, like with the arms over his ears. He is covered in grenades. Like if you've ever seen an action movie where the guy has like the bandolier of all the shotgun shells, he is all grenade. He's got more weapons than he should. He's definitely using more than his 4 item slots. And he comes up right behind you. So Steve and Dagnassi and Yuri are up by the door, and they look up. The camera scans, and the door starts to open. As the door starts to open, the water behind you becomes choppy. The sub starts to rock and bump against the dock. A high-pitched, distorted voice screams over the loudspeaker, "Look out behind you!" By the time you turn and see it happen, it's already too late. 2 long, spiky red tentacles have wrapped themselves around Redshirt's body. His eyes go wide with surprise. Powerless, he lets out a terrified wail before being dragged into the water. The vault door slams shut, and Murray, Chuck, feels a long spiked tentacle wrap around his leg. Make a brawn check at a +1 for me, or you're getting pulled into the water.
Yeah, no problem. At I'm trying to roll under my stat, right?
Right. So
So
in
it's a
3, 2, 1
+1?
action, the key here is you want to roll either at your stat or below your stat. So yeah. So the brawn check at a +1, that is going to go to your dice roll. So whatever you roll, it's going to be 1 higher to try to.
You got it. I rolled an 8, and so that's a +1. But hey, guess what, kids? I got a 9 in brawn. So
Just snaps the tentacle off.
yeah.
Roll a d10 for me and subtract your melee attack.
Okay. That's a 9. And then I get my unarmed. I get a -3, right?
Yeah. So you do 6 damage.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I just stomp on it. Like he just barely moves. Like I just like feel it touch, and it's just like an immediately like nothing else moves. He just like still barrels the camera just with his left foot.
So that tentacle whips into the water. However, 4 more tentacles whip up. One wraps its tentacle around Scorpion. Dagnassi runs over to try to cut that tentacle. 1 tentacle is coming at you, though, Tony. 1 tentacle is coming at you, Alex. You can make your attacks because you're not surprised. You know what's going on, and then the tentacles are going to attack you.
Go ahead.
All right. No, you go ahead.
I'm looking at the stats on my weapon real quick, so you go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to write those in.
Slime Boy is gonna go, "Ooh, baby." Not on my show. And then he's gonna whip out his kabar and kind of just slice that puppy.
All right.
I like how you leaned into Kabar.
Oh, I forgot that was before the stream started, so now it just seems like I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I've heard both ways.
Your knife that is also an elephant king. Yeah, a kabar. Well, Babar joke for everybody.
That
I'll see myself
it
out.
lost me there. I'm gonna be honest.
I was with you 100%.
It's
D10 minus 4.
D10 minus the so that's gonna do -3 damage.
So in 3, 2, 1 action, everything automatically hits. You only have to roll damage. However, if you don't do any damage, so you jab at it with your knife, it kind of moves, and you kind of clink your knife against the concrete of the loading dock. How about you, Tony? What are you doing?
Should I, if I have a high power crossbow, should I just use the compound bow stats for that? Okay, cool.
Yep.
I whip out a crossbow that I have slung across my back and just try to pin that tentacle to the deck. So I shoot, and I rolled a 10. It's -3, so 7.
Okay. That tentacle, it's stuck in there, and you can see the tentacle flesh kind of ripping as it tried to pull the tentacle back. Now it is going to be the Night Swimmer is the name of the squid's turn. So Alex, one comes whipping up at you. It is actually going to miss you completely because it's not going to roll enough damage. Murray, this one does.
I'm too slippery.
This one actually does 3 luck points of damage to you. Make a brawn check +1 for me to break free.
Okay. I rolled an 8, but again, 9 brawn.
So you whip away from it. It is now your turn again. And remember, you guys don't have to attack individually. You also can hatch out a plan. While you all are doing what you're doing, Dag Nasty and Scorpion are fending off tentacles on their own, kind of in the background by the door. Dag Nasty is trying to get the door open as well, because this is not exactly what you expect coming out of a sub. So what does everyone want to do?
Red Shirt was the one covered in grenades, right? They've been pulled down underneath the water. They're gone now.
Yeah. I mean, this is action. If you want to dive in and try to salvage one of those grenades...
Yeah, that's a lot of grenades to lose.
I mean, it's also a lot of grenades to set off at one time. Know what I mean? Could just get down there and pull a pin.
I like the way you think, my karate friend.
I have yelled that as I have pulled out my samurai sword and started eyeing this tentacle that is stuck to the thing. What do we think? Is it time to get wet?
Well, you know me, I'm always wet.
Yeah,
so it hardly makes a difference.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's make some sushi. Yeah, why not? I think. All right. If I look down, can I see Red Shirt at all? Because I'm still standing on the dock, right? If I look down, can I see him like blubbering or looking for help, or is he doing anything, or is he just being dragged helplessly into the depths?
Make a brains check for me.
That's not going to go well.
Or here's one of the fun tenets of 3-2-1 action. I'll ask you to fill a plot hole in 2 sentences. If you can do that, we can adjust the penalty. Fill a plot hole in 2 sentences. Why would it be easy for you in the heat of battle to spot where your buddy is underwater?
Oh, well, because I am actually originally from Orlando, Florida, and I spent 2 summers of my youth working as a throwing fish to Shamu, feeding Shamu. So I've got a really good eye. I got to keep an eye on them killer whales. Got a really good eye for finding things underwater.
All right, straight brains check for me. No penalty.
Still not going to be good. Oh! I rolled a 1, which beats my 2.
You can spot where he is, and if you want, you could dive in the water after him and make an attack to try to cut the grenade bandolier off him.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna. Yes, yeah, I do that. Yeah.
All right,
I
roll your damage for me.
Okay. That's not good. That was a 1 damage minus 3. So
that's enough. It's you. Roll another D10 for me, real quick.
10. Jesus.
All right. So listen.
I haven't rolled like a 4 or 5 yet.
You cut.
Chucking 1s and 10s.
You managed to swipe just as the squid starts pulling him into its webbing. But you cut at just the right time. And when you do, you loosen off 1 hand grenade that you're able to just kind of reach out and grab. So you got 1 hand grenade.
Okay.
But
Love that from his perspective. He's like, "Oh, finally, someone's coming to rescue me from this evil squid," and then a hand shoots down, grabs a grenade.
I think the shot that we see is that like Chuck actually like puts like he's got his samurai sword and he does a beautiful like swan dive, no splash, into the water, goes down, and like we see I reach out and to grab him, but he doesn't have hands, so I grab onto the bandoliers actually to save him, and then it breaks, right? Like I brought just like come right with just a grenade, and I lock eyes with Kenny Powers' Red Shirt, and I just give him a salute, and then I can't do anything else, right?
I will say that if there wasn't so much water in front of you, you would see him crying.
Sure. I know he's crying.
The sea gets a little saltier in that moment.
Yeah.
Tony and Alex, what do you want to do?
I think I'm not helping because I'm kind of afraid of water, to be honest. But I'm just kind of looking over the dock of the action and being like, "God damn. At least we got that grenade. Am I right, baby?"
Here's what I don't as far as like teamwork goes, is it too much to expect that that Chuck might be able to throw that grenade up above the water, like throw that out?
Of course, you can do
Okay.
that.
So what I want to propose is, if as long as Alex's character is really fun, I want to run and like you're gonna see Severin like foot plant off the back of is it Dagnasty? I forgot to write it down.
Yep.
Dagnasty, and like do a backflip over this open water area, as that grenade comes out.
Yeah, we did this move against the ninjas like
Yeah, we've done it.
so
We've done
many
this move
times.
so many times.
We fought multiple enemies back in Pueblo.
Grab that grenade out of the air, like land and twist it around the end of a crossbow bolt, and then turn around and point it back at the water. That feels like enough for right now. What I'm going to do is shoot it the next time. So, if no one else is, if we want to give the monster a second to respond, we can.
Okay, so with the thing with so a couple things at play here. One, I love it. Let me just lead with that. There's no bad news in the situation. So what I would need you to do is give me an action check for that, because that is like wet and wild at this point. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to fill the plot hole in 2 sentences before I give you a penalty.
Fill the plot hole about why I know it. I mean, I was raised in the circus, and I'm an expert acrobat / escape artist. Like this is 100% what I do is weird backflips over things.
All right, give me a straight action check.
That's an 8.
Perfect. I want to tell you that if either like Severin or Chuck were competing in this year's Olympic Games, at least silver in whatever you're trying to do, and I feel strongly about that. Maybe
I'd say this is like artistic swimming at the moment.
Yeah, if it's considered artistic swimming, you're both gold medaling. So with the hand grenade, when it gets thrown or sent off, I can make an action check at a -5 to try to deflect it or send it back. Okay. So you do it, you blast it off, and I missed. So it has now impacted into the Night Swimmer. So you're going to shoot it on your next turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Night Swimmer, in the meantime, tentacle at you, does 2 luck points of damage to you. Make a brawn check at a +1.
So can I roll a 1 or a 2 here? That's the question. No, I cannot.
So it wraps its tentacle around you and immediately pulls. You get dragged under the water. Alex, Slime Boy, it misses you with its tentacle. All right. Steve and Yuri are firing their M9s from the dock into the water, but they stop once they see Severin get pulled under. So now it is your turn again. What does everyone want to do?
I lock eyes with this giant octopus. Like we see its like lids like open and close as I just let this bolt go straight through the water, straight at its face.
Okay, roll damage.
We're gonna need a bigger sub.
That is 4 damage.
Just enough. Does anyone else want to do anything before I say what happens next?
You go.
I was just gonna say, like, I think I'm headed back to the surface. Chaboy needs a breath of air.
Yeah.
I have not gotten in the water yet, so I was gonna say, "Oh man," and then try to like be available, because I know the grenade thing is happening, but I want to be able to pull Severin back up after that. So like kind of like be going for is he still close enough to the surface that I could like grab him?
Absolutely.
Okay, grab him and try to use my knife to cut the tentacle that's pulling him down.
You can't. Roll damage for me.
That is 9 minus 4.
Dag.
You got it.
Yeah.
So you see Chuck surface. But you don't see Severin at first, but you do see an arrow pierce the water and just clink the side of the grenade, and the grenade explodes. Severin does surface, but is still wrapped in the tentacle. You manage to grab him, cut him loose, and all you see in the water is just black ink, just floating at the surface of the water.
Excuse me.
The door behind you actually starts to open, and over the loudspeaker you hear, "Sorry about that, guys. We're under strict orders not to let anything breach the perimeter. Figured you had it under control." And you feel a slightly hot but cool breeze kind of permeating from the next room. So the vault door opens. It opens from left to right, and it opens into a 40 by 40 storage staging area. The door is 20 by 30. It matches the door on the north wall ahead of you. Currently occupied in this room are 2 forklifts, a scissor lift, and various supply crates throughout. There are large industrial fans hanging from the ceiling. They don't really do much to cool the room, but you feel that breeze. The entire place smells like wet wood and gun oil. And the floor beneath you continues concrete.
Chuck is hard.
Yeah, with steel rails pinstriping it from north to south. Chuck didn't realize he was about to get seduced, but here we are.
Just the wet wood and gun oil.
So this is where supply drops are delivered to the island, as well as a general storage area for supplies the military doesn't have room for at the camps on the surface. So once you are all inside, the door behind you closes with a final sounding clang. Behind one of the crates appears a man with horn-rimmed glasses. They're sliding down the tip of his nose. He's got a clipboard in his hand. He says, "Man, I tell you, I've seen some weird stuff on this island, but I've never seen whatever the hell that was." He starts waving.
Don't talk about Chuck that way.
Yeah,
He's
nerd.
Come on, man.
I say, wringing out my ponytail.
He takes one look at Chuck and he knows better.
Yeah.
He starts waving you over to the crates he's tending to. He's like, "I'm Terwin Forrester. Welcome to the general store. Let me know if you need anything. We've got guns, we've got knives, we've got bombs, suntan lotion, cigarettes. What's your poison?" He looks both ways and he whispers, "Cold beer." And he gives you a little wink, the kind of wink that you would get from a conspiratorial comedy sitcom detective. So this room is filled with stuff that you can take and you can use. I'm going to actually drop it into the chat for everyone to see. If you want to pick out some stuff, if you want to procure anything, it's all on Uncle Sam. That being said, remember, in 3-2-1 action, you only have 4 spots to put your inventory. So you have 4 item spots, so you got to make them count. But it's in the chat right now. I will tell you that Forrester also has access to information about the island. But if you want to get anything out of Forrester, you're going to have to make a charm check to get him to slip about 1 factoid on the island. But he's still doing his inventory. He does let you know without prompting that, this is kind of all we have right now. Supply drops to the island have been interrupted due to the current situation topside. So you can get anything you want off the list, as well as a full extra magazine for the M9. However, any other ammunition, which you can get here, is going to have to be rolled for because it's going to be harder to come by.
Okay.
Cool. I would like to say that as he's drying off, Chuck is realizing that the squid ink has stained and dyed his karate gi black, and he is down with the change. He realizes that he somehow looks even cooler than he looked before.
I had both knives and then more knives written down on my character sheet, which is funny when I read it, but also probably doesn't make the most sense given the limited inventory slot. And singular instance of knives might just make sense.
Yeah. Well, because remember, weapons and ammo go together. So if you have a gun and like 4 magazines for it, that's 1 slot. If you have a bag of Molotov cocktails, that's 1 slot. If you're like, I'm a knife guy, I've got like 16 knives on me, it's 1 slot. So bear that in mind.
Yeah, as he's admiring his sweet new jet black karate gi, uh, out of the corner of his eye, Chuck sees something and he walks over to, I guess, like I I imagine they've got like a Panama, like a sunglasses display that would be in a Rite Aid,
Of
and he
course.
he he grabs a pair of aviators off of it, and then just takes his grenade off of his belt, which he realizes he can't possibly wear sunglasses and also have this grenade, so he just hangs the grenade up and puts the sunglasses on, and then turns around and goes, "I'm ready."
As you do that, though, before you do anything else, you kind of like look over the the sunglasses stand, and you notice a crate that's off to the side, and it's really partially covered by a tarp. But you see something gleaming coming out of it, and Forrester goes, "No, no, no! That's my private reserve." Um, but you see, like he gets like a little smile. And he's like, "Come check this out," because he wants to show off to you now. So he has a private reserve of weapons that are his personal collection. In that, you have a brass knuckle, you have katana, you've got an M24 sniper rifle, and a vintage 1975 M2 flamethrower. But those are his. However, if you want to try to steal them, let me know. Or if you want to try to charm him to have him come up off of it, let me know that as well, and we can figure something out.
Chuck hefts his own samurai and his brass knuckles, shrugs, and walks away unimpressed.
So Slime Boy, first of all, when everything was first offered, he did not understand that cold beers were like the only option, and he goes, "Thank you, I'll have a mojito, please." And when he sees these new weapons, he's gonna try to get that flamethrower. He's gonna be like, "So I see you have you got a flamethrower over there. That's pretty nice."
So if you want to charm him, action, it's going to be a +3 to action to steal it, because it's a backpack flamethrower. It's not like putting a candy bar in your pocket at the supermarket. But you could try to charm him. If I remember correctly about your character, if you're bleeding, you do have a bonus to your charm, right?
I do, yes.
Okay, so the charm check to get the flamethrower is going to be a +3. However, fill the plot hole in 2 sentences. Why do you think you can absolutely charm this flamethrower away from this guy?
Because I saw those horn-rimmed glasses and I knew this is a man who loves smooth jazz. And if I could just sing a few dulcet notes, I know I will have his whole heart.
So I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to say, as you're perusing, you are humming, right? As you're perusing.
Yeah, naturally.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be a straight charm check, because your bonus is what when you're bleeding?
+2.
All right, we'll make it. We're going to make it a straight charm check. You only get 1 try though to get this flamethrower.
Okay.
By the way, if you're just joining us, we're playing Rocket Terrestrial, which is a 3-2-1 action RPG. We got John Hambone McGuire running it for us. If you're watching on Twitch, you can type in !island or Spy Life, sorry, ! Spy Life to get entered into a chance to win a copy of the game.
Yeah.
It's roll at or below the stat,
At or
right?
below. Mm-hmm.
I rolled at my stat.
So Forrester, his eyes get big for a second. He's like, "I can't believe it's you!" And he like pops. He's like,
yeah.
And he gets like real, like, fanboying. He's like, I can't believe it's you. Oh my God. Had I known you were coming, I don't have any I don't have a mojito, but how about a bourbon? I have a bourbon.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it.
He reaches into his desk and he pulls out 2 glasses, he puts them up there, and his hand is shaking as he's pouring you the bourbon. He says, 1 finger or 2. And he hands you the bourbon, and he's like, I saw you were looking at my flamethrower. And he's like, Slime Boy, it would be an honor if you wore my flamethrower into battle.
Oh, you flatter me. But yes, I will be taking the flamethrower. Thank you.
All right. So the flamethrower, just so you know, it only has 3 charges, right? And it does take 3 item slots because it's a backpack flamethrower, but it does gnarly damage and it can affect multiple creatures in a 5-foot area. I'm going to drop the stats into chat. Just remember, if you're going to take this, you could have this and 1 other item.
Okay.
What are you giving up?
I'm giving up pretty much everything
Holy
except
crap, that is great.
except my rifle. So I'm gonna keep my rifle.
And I just lean over and go, "Who are you again?"
Because
stop
Slime
playing.
boy.
You already know. Already know. It's me, baby.
Chuck is just eating an apple that he got from somewhere, and he just takes a bite of the apple and pats the nerd on the chest and is like, "No, yeah, I feel pretty cool, right? He's my friend."
All right. Does anyone want to roll for ammo while we're here? Are you going to take any items off the miscellaneous item list?
I'll grab some more arrows if there are arrows that I can roll for and
Okay,
just like
so
I've got 12.
Roll a D10 minus 4.
There are no more arrows for me.
Okay. Tony?
Now that you've failed, I have plenty of arrows, but now I want to check and find.
There's no arrows here. This place sucks.
What am I subtracting from it?
D10 minus 4.
So I find then I have a 3.
Okay. So
where did you get those arrows?
No arrows for you either. Slime Boy, you cannot recharge the flamethrower. However, do you want to roll for M4 ammo?
Yeah.
D10 plus 1.
4.
So you get 5. So he comes over.
It was a 3 plus 1.
Oh, so 4. So Forrester comes over to you like shaking. He's like, we don't have a lot of ammo for the M4, but here are my last 4 M4 rounds. Would you mind? And he's like, I don't want to be that guy, but he reaches into the desk and he pulls out a vinyl copy of your album.
The reach on this Nebraskan jazz singer.
Slugging with Slime Boy, and he hands you a Sharpie and he asks you to sign it.
Oh, anything for the fans. Anything for the fans. Do you have a pen?
And he pulls out like he may not have bullets, but he's got like a coconut filled with like Sharpies, and he hands it to you.
Bandolier of pens.
Yeah.
He signs it. He gets a little bit of his sloppy sweat on it, and he signs it. Stay smooth, Slime Boy.
And his eyes get big when he sees the sweat on it, and he is just. This is like the happiest day of his life. Imagine like your favorite celebrity who you're like, I would like die if I met this person. Like this is happening in this bunker for Tara and Forrester. The next door starts to open up. You hear a gravelly voice coming over the speaker and says, well, if you're done making friends and raiding my pantry, would you please make your way to my office so we can get down to business? The door opens. Dagnasty and Scorpion disappeared for a second, but you kind of hear them arguing behind some of the crates. Like, not really arguing, kind of having a heated conversation. The door opens up. You feel a cool, refreshing breeze. This is a 60 by 60 warehouse area complete with a pop-up roofless office space. There's a closed-circuit camera observation area with TV screens, a kitchen, indoor outhouse, and a cot space for 4. On the east wall, there's a 20 by 20 reinforced garage-style door. There is a 3 by 7 standard metal door next to that. It's currently welded shut. And as you walk in, you feel that breeze and you hear a familiar song. It takes a second, but the chorus swells, and it's unmistakably Take Me Home, Country Roads by John Denver.
I hate this song.
Yeah. In the distance, you see an older man wearing full military regalia. He's got one eye trained on the CCTV monitors in the corner and the other on the clipboard in his hand. He pushes a pair of cheaters up his nose, glances in your direction, and says, "We're on the clock here, people," and he waves you in. This is Colonel Jack Fox, 48 years old, straw white hair, athletic build that's slowly developing into a paunch with age. This is a decorated war veteran. You could see medals on medals on medals. Probably has more medals than every member of your team combined, and those don't even include the ones he can't talk about. So he reaches out his hand and says, "Thanks for coming. I take it you've been briefed about our current situation. The Amphicora are running amok topside, and I know I don't have the clearance to ask what your course of action is. I've just been told by the higher-ups that we're in good hands." As this happens, you hear a slow banging, followed by scratching on the 20 by 20 reinforced steel door on the east wall. Colonel Fox starts walking towards it. "I'd give you the nickel tour, but I know you won't be making it back this way." He yells out to Forrester, "Get the welder. Let's get ready to pop the cap this sumbitch. Our guests are due poolside." And he tells you that on the other side of this door is an access tunnel with a freight elevator, which will take you uptown. The scratching you hear is the Amphicora. If you can clear them out, it's a straight shot to the elevator. You have any last-minute prep you want to do before you head out? You can try to squeeze some information out of Forrester or out of Colonel Fox if you'd like. Otherwise, let me know, and we're going to keep on rocking and rolling.
Chuck's an idiot. He couldn't do anything with the information if he wanted to. He's literally just sharpening his sword.
Yeah, Severin is overconfident in his abilities to handle whatever's out there, so also does not press for information.
Oh,
Slime Boy?
Yeah, Slime Boy's just gonna straighten his tie because he's still wearing his slimy little suit.
fuck yeah.
And he's
Okay.
gonna say, "Let's roll."
And, Forrester takes a minute to compose himself and get up to that door because, he essentially, imagine like a Beatles fan meeting John Lennon for the first time. That's where he's at. So he comes over to the door and he unwelds it, and you hear the scratching and the bang on the other side abruptly stop. His eyes get big for a moment and he exhales. He says, "All right, I'm opening the door in 3, 2, 1. Good luck." So this door opens to a tunnel that's 20 by 100. It's broken in parts and lined with some industrial panel lights. Some of the lights are dead, flicker, some work. The tunnel you can see leads to a staging area. You can kind of see where the opening to the elevator is. The tunnel's mostly quiet, save the disconcerting slight slapback echo that bounces off the flat gray painted line walls. The lead paint is chipped, but still doing a serviceable job shielding you from the radiation, but not fully. Upon entering the tunnel, you feel slightly queasy, partially from the runoff radiation and partially from the sterile blue hospital-style lighting. It's definitely 15 degrees hotter than it was in the last room, and it's rife with the stench of mold. Somewhere down the end of the tunnel, you can hear a faint squishing sound. It sounds wet and gross, but because the sound is bouncing everywhere, you can't really pinpoint where it is. What do you guys want to do?
I flip on the flashlight on the end of my tactical crossbow. So I get a little bit more consistent light in front of me. I'm gonna go ahead and pop an iodine pill because that seems like a smart thing to do.
Did you bring enough for the rest of the class, or
You want to share?
you didn't get your own?
So as you're about to pop
no?
that,
But look how cool these sunglasses are.
Yeah, I got a flamethrower, but
as you're about to pop that, Tony, Dag Nasty comes and puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Not yet." He's like, "You're gonna need that for later. Save it."
All right.
Okay,
So-
well then, do you have enough for all of the class?
And,
I don't know what radiation means or iodide,
and
but if you guys are eating them, I want some.
he pulls a pack out of his pocket, and it almost looks like those Violet's candies,
Yeah.
like same kind of packaging, but he's like, yeah. He puts them back away.
Okay, don't die.
and if you do, we're gonna take those.
Who's taking up the lead?
I'll take the lead.
Okay, so Tony, you were first. Who's going behind Tony?
Oh, I think that's me. Like we've got that right. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
In case either of us needs to throw the other one into any ninjas.
Yeah, and I think that they're like my bodyguards, so
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, you two go ahead.
Well, you've
Oh
got
my
the
God.
heavy artillery now too, right? Like you
Yeah.
should be.
do.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, quick aside. So I imagine you were wearing a shark skin suit. What color is it?
Oh, it's baby blue.
I love it. And do you have one of the ruffles, or is it like a undone bow tie saying that you've been somewhere before this?
It's a tie.
Okay.
Because I tightened it earlier, so I got to stick with it.
I love it.
Or you just do the move. You
Yeah,
just mime a tie.
It's an undone bow tie, but I did that anyway.
That's cool. All right,
yeah, let's go with that. Undone bow tie, and it's bright yellow.
This is the best.
You have just described the tuxedo I got married in, which is rad.
What?
Oh, that is awesome.
You're the real slime boy here.
Yeah, I am.
It's true. So that's the marching order. Tony, Severin up front, flashing that sign, flashing that light. You can see about 20 feet up. As the lights are kind of all flickering, you can see a crack in the wall with something gray and slimy oozing out of it. It's kind of like trying to fight its way out as if it's stuck.
Great. I'm gonna I see it looks like the liquid is trying to fight its way out like it's stuck, or it looks like something is in the liquid trying to fight its way out as if it was stuck.
It looks almost, from where you're standing, kind of almost gelatinous and squishy.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna pull out a knife, and I'm sure there is one on the end of my crossbow also too for when it comes up later. But I'm gonna go poke it with that knife on my offhand.
All right, so you get there and it wiggles at you really awkwardly, and you get eyes on it, and you're like, this is the biggest leech I've ever seen. Like, it is, once you kind of like hack at it and it comes out, you see it is 1 foot tall and easily 10 pounds. Like,
cool. I just pushed that knife through its body.
Yeah, it is one of the most incredibly gross things. I'm putting it in the chat so you can take a look at it, what it looks like.
Sure.
And this thing is so big. It is like the size of like a Shih Tzu. And as you do that, it kind of makes a little sound, and suddenly off all the hanging lights, more leeches start falling, mostly towards the back where Scorpion and Dag Nasty are. And as they start to fall, they hit the ground and they start racing towards all of you, trying to latch onto your flesh. So you hear gunshots coming from behind you. Dag, Nasty, and Scorpion are kind of just taking shots at these giant leeches. Alex, Slimeboy has 20 leeches kind of scurrying along the ground in your general direction. As this is happening, Tony, Severin sees from the elevator 3 Amphicora. And you pretty much from the description know that these are Amphicora come charging out. I'm going to drop those into the chat as well so people can take a look at them. This is
I've never done this before, but apparently if people drop images in Discord, this is just for anyone who runs the game on my channel before. When I open them up, they are perfectly sized to showcase on screen. So that worked out phenomenally, just FYI. So everybody got to see the leeches, and then we'll give everybody a shot at that Amphicora.
Oh, love these guys.
I want to make a joke about how we're an H.P. Lovecraft sushi restaurant, but I don't think Chuck Seagal can get that one out. Yeah. So just as a writer's room, this is just Alex in the writer's room. Somebody wants to make that joke.
Love it.
I love it. Real quick though, aside, the leeches is actually a preview of the next book, Point Nemo. Those are made and drawn by Claire Connolly, who's an amazing artist. Most of the art you're going to see today is going to be from Kelly Williams and several other artists who contributed to Rocket to Russia as well. So if you are able to share them, Tony, I'm going to mention who drew what so people can.
I just showed the leeches. Yeah, I just showed. Yeah, it's really easy to do, and we're looking at the Amphicora right now.
Perfect. So the Amphicora that is done by Kelly Williams.
Yeah. Awesome.
So now, what does everyone want to do? You've got 20 leeches coming from the back of you, headed at Slimeboy. Towards the middle and the front, you see 3 Amphicora charging your way. It is not really a surprise, so it is your attack. What's going on in this tunnel?
Go ahead.
I was gonna just say, Slimeboy, Feels like maybe some burninating is.
Yep. I'm thinking maybe it's time to put this puppy to use.
All right. So Slime Boy is going to use the flamethrower. What is Chuck going to do?
Yeah. So I think like there's not like a hold action.
I mean, you can wait and say,
Yeah,
I
you
want to
can-
see whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I want to wait for a sec because I think in my head it's just like in my head what we've done is like the camera sees like you look down the tunnel, it's just like leeches and fish people, and it's like Severin and Chuck just like give it like a, and then just like step apart, and there's fucking Slime Boy with the flamethrower just like ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
I had unfortunately moved forward 20 feet away from y'all because I had gone to stab that leech a little while ago. So I am
Fair
actually
enough.
further down the hallway, which is fine. I am going to you watch me like run up, like start running towards the fish people, and then you see me like plant a foot on the wall, like step up, get basically like up towards where the ceiling is, and then I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna shoot one of these amphicoras right in the throat.
All right.
With my...
And remember, you can do 2 attacks, and they don't have to be on the same person.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
remembering. And so then I'm gonna shoot 2 of them. Actually, that's what I was about to ask after the first one. So I'm gonna shoot 2 of them. So that is 10 and it's -3, so 7 damage to one of them.
Let me just interrupt you for 1 second. Don't you get a bonus to your thing when you're jumping?
I do. So is that going to be +2 to the damage roll, or is
Plus, it's plus. You're gonna get +2 to your damage.
Oh, awesome! So that is 9 damage to one of them.
And then what happens to the other one?
The other one takes 5 damage.
Okay. You jump up, and you right off the wall, pop, and you down both of them in a single like action. They both fall prone to the ground. What about you, Slime Boy? You have the flamethrower. Are you going to go for the leeches? What's your play here?
Yeah, it's 20 leeches, so that seems like prime flame time.
All right, so you obviously you can make 2 attacks with it. I'm going to recommend you do 1 and see what happens because you are doing some heavy damage here. So roll a d10 and add 3.
13.
Dang. So
Fucking barbecue.
a quick burst, and you engulf all 20 of the leeches, and it just stinks. It just, I mean, because you have the gas. You know this thing is actually leaking gasoline, so you're getting high off the gas fumes. You release fire, and then whatever those leeches have been eating, it's not healthy. So it just stinks in there. On the other side of the flame, you see Dag Nasty and Scorpion kind of dive back to kind of get out of the fire burst. As this is happening, from the elevator pops out 2 more Amphicora and what appears to be a much larger Amphicora. This is also by Kelly Williams. This is the Amphicora General. He's flanked by these 2 Amphicora. They are going to be in combat next turn because they're a good amount of distance away from you. However, the one
I haven't done anything yet.
Yes.
Can I? Are they there?
They're there, but they're a distance from you. But yeah.
Okay. Is there like a range thing? I have a bow as well.
Go for it.
Yeah. So like I think I see the you know, I'm just watching these leeches burn, and like a single tear drips down Chuck's face at the beauty of it all. And then he hears the doors come over, and like just turns and he's just like, yeah, all right, I'll take a shot at that thing. And then the bow just comes off of his back, and he takes 2 shots right at the general.
You got it.
All right. And then one's going to hit for 3 damage, and the other for 6 damage.
All right, you hit the general, and he kind of like laughs at you. The one Amphicora that was left, though, hurls a spear at you. All right, and it's going to do 5 points of damage to you. And he runs up.
That's not good.
5 points of damage on Chuck. He runs up to Severin and takes a swing with the machete, and he is going to do 3 points of damage to you. And now it is your turn again. What does the squad want to do?
Word. So Tony, Severin killed the other two, right? The two like in front
there
of
were
us
3
down
down
the
the
hall.
hallway. I killed 2 of them.
You killed 2. All right.
So there's the one that's in combat with Severin, and then there's the 2 in the general that are going to be in next.
They came to. They're still in front of us. Like all of our enemies are that way in front of us. Cool. I mean, I guess like I'm just gonna advance down the hall, fucking pumping arrows into the general.
Okay, go for it.
That's another one for 6, and one for 4.
All right, and he's even more mad now. He's charging. Severin, what are you gonna do with the one that's attacking?
I'm locked in combat. This is the one I've got my knife out now. He's swinging at me with the machete. I'm going back and forth. We see this, this quick exchange before I slip behind him and try to stab him straight through the back with my K-bar. Which I should look at the stats for again. What's the minus on that?
It's a -4.
There's a -4. So I do 3 damage to it.
All right, it is still up. Well, you have 2 attacks. You hit him again.
Yeah. So I guess I hit him quickly twice from behind. And that's going to do another 3 damage.
And with the old one too.
Yeah.
Slime Boy, what are you doing?
So I'm assuming that I got the leeches pretty good, right?
They're dead.
They're dead. So he's gonna put the flamethrower back and say, "Oh baby, we got something else on our hands." How many Amphicora who are not the big boy are there right now? It's
3.
2.
There's
3.
One engaged with Severin and the 2 flanking the general.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out my rifle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to shoot one each of the 2 that are flanking the general.
You got it. Roll your damage.
Okay. Where's my how much damage? What is the
-2?
-2. Cool. 8 and 4.
So you down one of them. The other one is there with the general. The general kind of just pounce and shoulders the one out of the way because it is running straight for Chuck.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. As it's running though, it hurls. It rips leeches off of its body and just starts hurling them at all of you. So it takes a damage for each leech it rips off its body. But Slime Boy and Severin, you each have a leech that hits you. You both each take 1 luck point, and it's going to continue to do 1 luck point of damage each turn that you don't rip it off. Now, well, Chuck, so this thing runs right up on you, and
you guys ready for me to die like an hour into the game?
No, not my Granada buddy. I won't let it happen.
So he gets right up in your business, and he bites down on you for 3 luck points of damage.
Okay.
However, it's doing its human lobster bib attack. So he bites into you and he picks you up and he's using you now as a meat shield. You can attack, but you can't move freely around the battlefield. It's not going to become immobilized while it's chowing down on you. It's going to run around and attack other people using you as a shield. And you can break free on your turn by making a brawn check.
Sure.
But anyone who attacks the general going to do half damage to Chuck. That while that's
Chuck's
happening,
just screaming, "I got this guy. This one's all me. I'm on it."
Are you sure, Chuck?
I got it.
All right, I trust you.
Up on Slime Boy and does a sawtooth slash with its claw. Does 3 luck points of damage to you, Slime Boy. But like it's hacking at you while it's got your in like all you see is like the top of this thing's head, and it Chuck's back because he's like, and he's like attacking you over Chuck, but using Chuck as a shield. The last other Amphicora does hurl a spear at Dagnasty and Scorpion. He does some damage to them, and then he does enter melee with you as well, Tony. Tries to whack you with its machete, but misses. So now you've got 2 on you. What does everyone want to do?
I want to I'm gonna position myself almost sandwiched between them, and then I'm gonna like pick up my feet and run up one of them backwards and plant my feet on the ceiling. And as I twist, come down with my knife on the one who I was just behind stabbing.
Okay.
As my first attack.
Okay.
And so that's going to be it's -4, is it, for the knife?
Yeah.
So it's -2 all day long. So that's going to be a 6 damage.
Okay, and what about, and then, so you run up and you just actually roll an unarmed strike for me real quick. It's -6.
-6?
Yeah.
So that's going to be 2.
So you, to the one that just showed up that you're running off of, you do 2 damage.
Okay.
Because you're kicking him, you're hitting him hard
Sure.
as you're flipping. You flip, stab your knife into the one's head. You have another attack. The other guy, he kind of like.
I mean, my other
staggers
question
back.
is, since I'm technically in flip mode at that point, would it be +2 to that unarmed strike because of the additional 2 damage?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
I will allow it as your game runner.
as a beneficent game runner.
But you have one other attack. The knife is in the one's head. What do you want to do?
Is he still kicking or is he down?
The knife head one is dead. But
Okay.
the other one is still up, but he's hurt and he kind of staggers
Yeah.
back.
So then I'm just gonna pull that knife out and fling it straight at him.
Roll damage.
And that is gonna be 2 damage.
Okay, just enough. So you run up him. He staggers back. You jam the knife into the guy. Then you kind of lean forward and whip it out of the one skull into the other's chest. He drops back. He is dead. Slime Boy, what do you want to do?
All right. So if I were to get behind the general,
Right.
could I then avoid hitting Chuck?
You can, but it's going to be a little difficult because you have a heavy item on you, so you can only really move 5 feet. So I'm going to say if you want to try to like slide, because you're going to kind of have to move around him or slide around him, it's going to be an action check +2.
Okay, cool. Because I was thinking I could use my natural slipperiness to kind of like slide between his legs and do a little whoosh.
Okay, you know what? Just make a straight action check for me then.
Okay. That's gonna be a 1.
That's the best you could possibly roll when you're doing an action check.
Oh right! I
stab or
forgot.
below.
It's
This is
flip.
I like how you
Yay!
were ready for it to not be good, and then you were like, "Wait, no."
I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
when you're trying to do something, a 1 is great. When you're trying
Right.
to do damage, a 1 is terrible. So-
I keep getting them flipped. Okay, cool. Then I do an amazing job.
Yeah, and like you could hear the scraping sound of the tank on the flamethrower kind of echo, and like it's like nails on a chalkboard times 10. But you manage to slide through. You're behind them. What do you want to do?
I want to just shoot him in the back of the head.
All right, roll your damage.
with the flamethrower or with the rifle?
With the rifle. I'm saving the flamethrower.
I was making sure.
I have a feeling I'm gonna need some more of that juice later. That is an 8 minus 2.
Yeah.
So 6.
So you slide, and you pop up. Do you say anything before you fire the shot?
Yeah, I'm gonna say scroogly-bop-bop-a-doobly-doo.
And you know, on the end of that pop that you hear is the bullet flying. It pierces the skull of the general. The general just falls forward. You're gonna take 1 luck point of damage. Chuck, because it falls on top of you like a lead blanket.
I can't make an action check to get out from under that.
Yeah, you know what? Make an action check for me to dive out of there.
That's a 3 on my 9.
You manage to break free at the last second, and just you kind of like you feel it turning, and you use your own inertia to kind of flip it over, and it still falls, it still goes splat. But now like you're kind of like, you know, in the rom-com where they accidentally fall on each other. It's like, are they going to kiss? Or are they not going to kiss?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, except with a horrific creature that just tried to murder you.
Yeah.
And, you know,
You still might kiss.
Yeah, you still might kiss. But, you know, might want
Kiss
to
my ass.
your flesh out of its teeth first. So I'm going to say you guys, you pull the leeches off. Everything's fine. Dag, Nasty, and Scorpion rejoin you. It's a straight shot from the elevator. You guys can take the elevator up. So
just keep walking.
They're like, all right, that was
just
fun.
like
Let's go.
crack my neck. Like, okay. I'm fairly beat to shit now. Just so we know. I don't know if anyone has like a band-aid. I have like this big seeping bite wound in my thing.
I'm gonna pat you on the shoulder and say, I got nothing, but
it's a sweet flamethrower though.
You're a real trooper.
It's like real cool.
All right, so you guys take the elevator up. The sunlight is blinding as you pierce the surface. After
Not to
breaking
me.
away the purple spot in your eyes.
Got the shades.
Not for Chuck, but for the rest of you, as you blink away the purple splotches in your eyes, the edges of the jungle look the same way it does when you pump gas on a hot day in the summer. Everything is hazy. You felt a little of the radiation in the tunnel, but out here you can feel it times 100. Jungle trees surround you on all sides. The buzzing of insects and calls of the wildlife echo through the dense canopy. This is Point Nemo. And that's the end of episode 1.
Awesome.
Nice.
So we are going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to come back at let's say 35 after the hour and play our second episode of the game. By the way, we are giving away a copy of the game. So if you type in, if you're watching us on Twitch right now, hit follow, then type in !Spy Life to get entered into a chance to win your own copy of Rocket to Russia. We're going to be back in 5 minutes.
All right.
By the way, if you're watching right now, I want to remind you to go over to 321actiongame.com to check out all the great stuff connected to Rocket to Russia and the 321 action system. We're playing, it's a cinematic system. It's an absolute blast. Also, while you're checking things out, if you want to go over to ttrpg.link/DWGLive, that is... Oh man, that is our current crowdfunding campaign for Down We Go. It is currently funded. We're unlocking stretch goals. We just unlocked another one early this morning, a $7,000 goal, and we have another one at $8,500 to expand the bestiary for that. So go check it out while you're over checking out Rocket to Russia, and I'll drop both of those URLs in the chat over on Twitch. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, you can hit follow and type in !Spy Life to get a chance to win a copy of Rocket to Russia from our good friends over at Exalted Funeral. We'll be right back. And we are live again here on Plus One EXP. We are playing Rocket to Russia, which is a cinematic RPG by, what do we have? One of the co-writers with us, John Hambone McGuire, also known for the Vintage RPG podcast, who is joining us here live. John, tell us a little bit about the development of this game and just why you wanted to make Rocket for Russia before we decided to dive back in.
So for me, during the pandemic, I played a lot of different systems with a lot of different people. And I had a blast, trying to look at the positive of everything with staying home as much as we did. I got to connect a lot of different people and a lot of people who were playing games for the very first time. And so I found a lot of systems to not really have a good, entry point for people who finally got the guts to step up to a gaming table, because I met a lot of people who were like, I always wanted to do this, but I don't know, I never really could. It was always too much for me, too many books, too many things I need to learn. So I wanted to come up with a system that made it easy for everyone. So my best friend, George Colazzo, who is the other creator and co-writer, we put our heads together on this. And, I would be hanging out with my goddaughter a lot because we're home during this whole thing. And she's now going to be almost 4, watching her watch Sesame Street and watching her watch, other things. Most kids, most people, I know it seems like a broad generalization, but the first thing you learn is how to count to 10. So instead of having crazy modifiers and crazy things that did this and did this and did this, it's all about counting to 10 in our system. And that's why any kind of challenge is also 1, 2, or 3, because we want to keep it basic. We want everyone to be able to come to the table comfortable and ready to play at the drop of a hat.
Awesome. I'm having a blast. Let's go ahead and dive back in as we come to the top of the elevator and enter onto the island.
So this is episode 2, Catch Me If You Can, October 4th, 2005, 1,000 hours, 7 hours until extraction. So the sunlight is blinding as you pierce the surface. After, blinking away the purple splotches, except for our pal Chuck, who's got the cool aviators on, you start to feel the radiation, you hear the wildlife, And you also hear the sound of gunshots 300 feet northwest of the hatch and the elevator that you popped out of. When you look in that direction, you can see a chain link fence tucked behind some jungle brush. Off to the side, though, you can see Dagnassi and Scorpion kind of having another heated talk out of earshot. But it ends with Dagnassi putting his hand on Scorpion's shoulder. Scorpion nods in agreement, and then Dag looks over at the party, goes like this, points to the fence, and points to his iodide pill pack. So this is going to be your first radiation check. The island is very much irradiated. So what you want to do here is either pop an iodide pill or make a successful guts check, or you're going to suffer one ongoing guts penalty due to radiation poisoning. So everyone go ahead and either pop a pill or make a guts check for me.
And that's a choice. We can't make a guts check and then find out afterwards if we need to pop a pill.
Yeah.
I'll just pop a pill then.
I'm just gonna take a pill.
I'm fine.
So after this, if you don't have any pills on your person,
I eat radiation for breakfast.
Yeah. After this, if you don't have any pills on your person, whenever there's a guts check to be made for radiation, you're going to have to make it. Because remember, you only have 4 items in your inventory, so you're going to have to make some choices. You do see a sign for Camp Betsy as you get close to the fence. This is the back entrance to the camp.
I'm sorry, just a very quick point of order. Yeah. There was some rolling for more luck points. Is that in between episodes or in between?
You know what? I ran off to the bathroom so fast I forgot. So at the end of the episode, and thank you for reminding me, because I don't want you to die that quick.
Yep.
You do an end of the episode wrap up. So what I'm going to do real quick with this is going to have you each roll a d10, and then I'm going to have you add that to your luck point total, and then we're going to do one more.
Oh, thank you, baby. Take 8 more luck points, back up to 18 from 10.
You weren't doing so well?
I mean, I was 2 solid hits away from being ex-Chuck. Ground Chuck. I
mean, that'll do it.
I have... Oh, go ahead.
No, you first, please.
I was just going to say I have a question about the pills, and it was if I can take a pill from Dag Nasty, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has one pill for each of you.
Okay, for the whole thing?
For the whole day. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I both saw everybody had iodine pills in their thing, and then I paid attention during mission briefing and was like, man, I'm glad I left that as one of my items.
Yeah. But maybe you'll find more on the island.
Chuck just doesn't understand what radiation does.
Yeah. It's not a big deal.
Why is everybody so worried about waving things? I don't get it.
So another fun thing that we do here is end of the episode awards ceremony. So obviously, I'm going to give you guys each some luck points for doing cool stuff. Best comedy, I'm going to give to Chuck, because you've been cutting me up pretty good. So you get an extra luck point.
I'll take it.
Best action sequence plus 2 luck points, I'm going to give to Severin for that sweet flip around using the other person and then killing 2 with your knives. And then for line of the night, I'm going to give it to Slime Boy for the scat to kill the Amphicora General. So you get plus 3 luck points.
Okay.
All right.
What we call scat damage, which can mean a lot of different things. But,
does that keep us PG-13 scat damage?
What? That's what happened.
Skiddly deep bop poop.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Is there another meaning to the terms I just used? Is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know what radiation means.
Yeah.
If the island's that irradiated, and if there are animals, we could throw radioactive dung at someone at some point. Just saying.
Radioactive what?
Dung!
Yeah!
You might find that on the island, too.
Yes.
So you see a sign for Camp Betsy as you get close to the fence. This is the back entrance to the camp. As you move in, you can see through the chain link fence what appears to be bodies lying about, lifeless and still in the early morning light. At the top of the chain link fence, there are skinny light posts with green bulbs staggered every 10 feet with barbed wire running between them. The lights are currently powered down, but you notice that there is a security pad on the fence's door, and it's still powered on and keeping the door locked. It requires a code or key card to gain access. And through the distance, you could actually see behind a tent that's on the other side of the fence, you can see a soldier huddled for cover behind that tent. He looks shaken, and he's clutching his rifle for dear life. What do you want to do?
So is the fence goes all the way around, I'm guessing?
Yes.
And we're trying to get in.
Trying to get in.
Is it just chain link, or is there, what kind of fence is it?
It's chain link.
And is there anything at the top of it?
Barbed wire. So you have a door right in front of you with a security pad. You have a chain link fence that goes, and I'm just going to tell you, it goes as pretty much a city block.
Okay.
But a suburb, forgive me. It goes a suburb block, not a city block for those who live in major cities.
That's
it's
like,
a suburb
that's
block.
not far.
And then you have the soldier, freaked out on the other side of the fence behind the tent. There's still gunfire going on around you.
I'm gonna turn to my buddies and I'm gonna point at the soldier and say, "Hey, you think if we become friends with that guy, he might let us in?"
I go, yeah, that seems reasonable. And I just turn and go, hey, dude, hey, guy.
I have disappeared. I'm no longer on screen.
Let us in. Hey, man, open the fence.
And I'm going to be going, yoo-hoo.
He turns.
This ninja, this moistened, suited.
Severin, did you move?
I did.
Dag Nasty and Scorpion, Dag Nasty's eyes get big. Like, what did you do? The soldier just turns and freaks out and just starts firing at you.
What the hell, guy?
He misses Slime Boy, but he is going to do 2 damage to Chuck. And then
trying to help.
He steps out from behind the tent, and then you hear a gunshot and you see his head explode, and he just drops to the ground.
God. My friend.
Yeah, we were gonna be buddies.
Yeah.
Are there any trees near the edge of the fence?
There is.
Okay, I'm gonna just get up one of those trees.
All right, make an action check for me.
That is a 7.
What's your action?
Do what?
What is your action?
Oh,
stat?
my action is 9.
All right, you get right up that tree. You get up into the tree, and you can actually see the layout of the camp. You can see in the distance on the other side of the camp, along the west wall, there are barracks. You guys are coming. You're all coming up from the south. You can see kind of right below the tent, right below the tree line. You could see a tent with a weapons training ground behind it. In the distance, you can see the gates, and the gates are busted open. You can see dead Amphicor and dead soldiers alike. The battle gets quiet for a second after that soldier's head explodes.
Yeah, and I say, and whoever shot this guy dead, I can't see. I'm guessing
you can't.
Yeah. So I want as quickly as possible to run out a branch, drop down on the other side of the chain link, even if that's a little bit of a jump. That's fine. I'll do it. And move as quickly as possible to his position where he was hiding.
All right,
open.
You go on.
Let me in. I'm just still standing at the door.
He's still standing by the door.
Let me in.
Would you let us in, please?
That's a 2.
Yeah, you drop down gracefully like Batman, and you manage to get over to where that soldier is, and you from where he is, you're at the edge of the tent and you just see boots, and you hear someone in the tent on a walkie-talkie going, "Mayday, Mayday! We're pinned down. We need reinforcements." And this is an American camp, by the way, Camp Betsy. So, what is Severin? What does Chuck want to do?
Okay, I'm gonna backflip over the fence.
Okay, make an action. So make an. I know you are a jumpy guy.
Yeah.
But it's a 6-foot fence. Are you gonna get a running start and just?
Oh yeah, I'm just
All
gonna
right,
get a running start.
Action check +2.
Sure. I rolled a 3. And I've got a 9.
Yeah, you manage just right over the top, and you also like superstar land on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I do a carry strug to both sides.
What does Slime Boy want to do?
And then I turn around and open the door for Slime Boy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna saunter through that gate and I'm gonna say, "Thank you, Chuck. Cool shades."
Knuckles.
So
Get some moist knuckles.
Yeah, some moist knuckles. We
to
just like
wipe it
walk.
off with
We just walk over to Severin and be like, "Hey."
Yeah. What's up, bro?
So Slime Boy saunters in with Tag Nasty and Scorpion hot on the heels. You guys are at the back of that one tent, and you hear people arguing inside, and you hear a clearly ranking commanding officer calling out for reinforcements.
It doesn't sound like the officer we heard down below, correct?
Different guy.
Different
timbre to their voice.
Okay. Man, the mild like Slavic accent that Severin has is probably never helpful in any of these situations.
It's 2005. Man.
I can do the talking if you want, but
yeah. I mean, I think I've already gone inside and like I step in the tent, like stealthily before these yuccos show up and start making extra noise. What do I see inside?
Are you gonna go into the tent?
Oh yeah, before these, like as they're coming through, I've stepped inside the tent quietly to see what I can see.
So this is a lab. It's a 40 by 40 military style tent with plastic windows on all 4 sides, doors to the west and the south that are made of the same material as the tent, as well as windows. There is a weapons testing range out back that you came in through. Inside the lab, it's actually in rather good shape with the exception of some bullet holes along the north wall. There's power in this tent. And along the southwest wall, there's a small frost-covered refrigerator, kind of like one of those Red Bull refrigerators you see at the 7-Eleven. And it's covered in frost and emanating with a strange blue glow. As you pop in, though, there's 3 metal tables all flipped over for cover, various bits of scientific equipment scattered across the room. The room reeks of chemicals, antiseptic, and hot plastic. You hear that voice again in shouting, "We're pinned down, a school of fish, and at least 1 sniper in the jungle outside the gate. Perimeter's breached. Send reinforcements now." And there are 2 scientists taking shelter in the lab. Each have M9 handguns drawn. And make an action check for me.
I rolled a 1.
You managed to get in there, and by rolling that 1, they see you, but they see you and they recognize that you are a friendly. So they kind of like lower their guns. They're shaking. The man who's screaming into the walkie-talkie turns to you, and you can see his name says Greenway. And he's got like the stripes on his shoulder to let you know he's a lieutenant. And he looks at you and he waves you in.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Is the rest of you going to go in?
We hear that and step awesomely through the tent door.
Hold the applause.
They just kick it open and we stand backlit.
You kick open the fabric door.
It flops back in front of us.
It goes back. I look awesome for half a second and then it hits me in the face. Oh, damn it.
And then we just kind of have to like paddle.
We're backlit for 2 seconds, like perfectly framed on either side of Tony's head, and then just get hit with flaps. Yeah, we're here. What's up?
We made it. We're good.
All right.
Chuck, what is in your brain? What is the song that's playing when you enter this tent?
Oh, it's a mashup of all the Kenny Loggins songs. So like it's like Danger Zone and then like also a little bit of Ferris Bueller, but mostly Danger Zone.
I know some of you heard me say a lot of Kenny Loggins songs, and what I said was all the Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm afraid what you heard was
So you come walk. So first, Dag Nasty and Scorpion come in behind Severin, and you see a very like relieved kind of look on Lieutenant Greenway's face. Then Slime Boy comes in, and then he kind of arches his head. And then when you come in, Chuck, rocking that gi, he kind of looks puzzled, but you come walking in, you flap the thing, and it's like, highway to the slap, and get slapped in the face by the thing come like walking in. The record stops, and he looks at you and he says, I guess you're the pitch hitters Russell sent for? This is Dr. Trina and Dr. Mannix. They're in charge of the lab. And these doctors look shaken up, and he says, thank you for coming, soldiers. She says, my name is Dr. Trina, and I'm the head research scientist of the island. She slides a metal briefcase over to Dag Nasty. Fill this with the UMA samples. While I grab my research, we need to move to a secure location ASAP. So Dag Nasty starts opening that cooler with the glowing blue stuff coming out of it, and he starts loading the vials. Now these are syringes. If you've ever seen like an EpiPen, it doesn't look like a syringe. It looks like something you would, stave off an anaphylactic shock with. Greenway says, hey, that's not what they're here for, doctor. And furthermore, I don't know what their clearance level is. He looks at Dag Nasty and says, please put that down, son. That's not what you're here for. So he is commanding the room with the stoicism of a very frustrated stepfather. So this is a career military man. He's seen his fair share of combat, and he's just trying to keep everyone alive. Dr. Mannix pipes up, what are they here for then? And he's swallowing down the urge to start screaming. Like, it is heated in here. Now, Tony, make a brains check for me.
Oh yeah, my brains.
Mm-hmm.
Are we
I made
all
it.
dumb?
I rolled a 3.
So
Nice.
when all they're arguing over this stuff, the UMA, you actually see like a journal on the ground, like a medical like science journal. It's like a 1-inch binder. It says UMA on the cover of it, and it's kind of like at your foot that you kind of kicked it when you walked in. He said, well, they're here for a different kind of help, Doc. As you know, this island's a top secret military base. Real off the books type stuff, most of which is classified. With that being said, we had the situation with the Amphicora well in hand until 5 days ago when the sniper showed up and plaguing the island ever since. His presence here is the top brass concern, since nobody with less than 4 stars in the president should know this place exists. And even when the president is iffy. We know for certain he's after the UMA because vials of it have gone missing, and we've discovered he's not working alone.
I've during this time bent down to reload my crossbow and check my knives and pick up that binder and slide it into the back of my shirt.
Okay, so you slide it into the back of your shirt.
Yeah.
Make an action check for me real quick.
So Chuck Yeager's just on the other side of the tent thinking about how glad he is that George W. Bush is the president and how proud he was to have voted for him. So a little insight into where Chuck is. President knows everything.
I rolled a 4, so I was successful by a good bit.
All right. So no one sees you take the journal. He must have had a cyanide pill in his pocket because they found out a couple days ago. One of their boys, we thought he was one of us, but he was attempting to steal the recipe for the UMA. Must have had a cyanide pill in his cheek because he was foaming at the mouth before we could ask him. All we got is long live the cabal, and the rest we need a Ouija board for. After that, the sniper led an attack on the camp. It appears he's in league with the Amphicora. My men took out most of the fish, but there's still more lurking in the jungle. And I'd say the more pertinent issue is the sniper. We cannot let him get the recipe for UMA. So at that point, I'm going to ask what you want to do, because the doctors and the lieutenant are bickering. They start bickering over like what to do with the UMA. What does everyone want to do?
Chuck walks over and he's like, listen, I'm an expert in MMA. I've trained with all the greatest MMA fighters that there are. You've got a problem, you let me handle it.
I'm gonna try to diffuse the fighting and because Slime Boy's an excellent mediator, and be like, okay, people, I'm sure we can all come to a reasonable solution. We're gonna go take care of the sniper guy. Meanwhile, our doctor friend can go with our friends and get the juice. I don't really know what it is, to a safe location, and we can all win. Oh, thank you, Chuck.
what other buildings were there on the nearby?
There's barracks.
And I'm all of a sudden I think not in the room anymore, and I'm zigging and zagging my way to the barracks.
All right, so the barracks, 60 by 60 military style tent, same material, plastic windows, doors to the north and east side. Over by the barracks, outside of it, is a parking area for Hummers. It's 2 Humvees that are parked there, thirds on blocks. There are vehicle parts nearby with tires and stacked on top of one another. There are also 3 large oil drums on the southwest side of the barracks. They're seemingly intact and presumably there to refill the Humvees.
This is actually even better. I pop in the back of that third Humvee that's up on blocks and close the door behind me.
Okay. Are you doing anything else while you're
I'm reading this binder.
Okay. So we're going to stick on you for a second. This UMA, a lot of it is redacted, right? However, UMA is an acronym for Ultimate Military Adrenalizer. Any knowledge of its R&D was kept on a strictly need-to-know basis, as well the secret joint partnership between the DoD and Resolve Corp, which led to its creation. The UMA was developed as an attempt to mitigate battlefield losses for the U.S. military and to keep the service people of the U.S. Armed Forces in the fight longer. There were unfortunately some side effects. So you see that not everyone has the same reaction to it. However, in most cases, it essentially is kind of like a super soldier serum where it in some people, it will give you more luck points. In other people, it might give you more luck points, but also cause a mutation of some sort.
Give it to the fish.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so sometimes it turns your skull red, sometimes it turns you into a fish, sometimes it, makes you...
Well, let me tell you, there's a D10 chart you can roll on to see what happens.
Cool. That's about what I expected. I'll pop out the other side of the thing and keep on going while we flash back over to everybody else. Figure out what they're up to.
Are you going to enter the barracks?
I'm going to eventually, but we can give everybody else some screen time before we hit that.
That's cool. I just needed to know where you were. So back to the other thing, they finally stopped bickering. I'm going to say that Slime Boy's the dulcet, smooth tones of Slime Boy's voice was enough to kind of chill everyone out for a second.
And I'm bleeding too, so I got a little bit of extra charm.
Yeah, you do. And that boat, the tie says you've been somewhere before. It's loose now. The snipers. So Lieutenant Greenway brings it back. He says the snipers last known whereabouts were in a jungle a quarter click away from Camp Herbert, which is here. He looks up at the party and says Herbert's our main research facility, so it makes sense that he's been skulking around over there. Further up the path is Camp Denver, which is also your extraction point. It's the northernmost point of the island, which makes sense for an extraction point for him as well. If he falls back, it's going to be to there. Do you think your team can draw him away from the camp and buy us some time until reinforcements arrive? This is another spot where if you wanted to try to get any information out of the doctors or the lieutenant, it would take some charm checks. Otherwise, let me know.
Yeah, I want to ask. I want to go to the whichever doctor seems the most likely to be susceptible to the magic of smooth jazz, and say, so what does this MMA stuff do?
So that would be Dr. Mannix. Give me a charm check at a +1.
11.
So you could spend luck points to make that charm roll, but what's your charm?
My charm is 6.
And you're bleeding, right? Or is
I am bleeding.
Is that with the bonus or?
No, that was not with the bonus.
Okay. So you'd only have to spend 3 luck points then to get the information.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
All right. And this is, now folks who are watching at home, this is what the luck points are for in Point Nemo. Just a quick aside, luck points are for things that make you bleed and also can be used to push your luck and to help you in the checks that you're going to make. Guts is for stuff that will physically hurt your body and make it harder for you to do things. So just under your spell, just fallen. So he essentially tells you the same thing that Chuck just learned about the Jeep. However, I'm going to give you an island fact. Roll a D10 for me, please.
3.
So, this is not the first time the island has been invaded by foreign powers. While the world was focused on Y2K, forces from Redacted invaded the island and were apprehended before they could escape with any sensitive information.
Slimeboy is going to say, I've never heard of that country. That's insane.
Exactly. Chuck, anything you want to get out
Yeah,
of them? Or no?
I've got a question. While this is happening, I know that at some point the cooler was being opened and there was a thing and there was some maybe putting of the syringes in or out. Where are the syringes right now while this conversation is happening?
They kind of stop mid unload, so there's stuff in the fridge. Pantry's full.
Okay. While this conversation is happening, they're talking about super soldiers. Chuck just casually walks over and grabs one and slams it into his arm.
Okay, make an action check for me.
Sure. Like he hears all of that and just is like, oh yeah, shoot me up. Yeah, I mean I'm under. It's an 8.
Roll a D10 for me.
All right.
That's an 8.
Oh wow. Something stretchy. So you get plus 10 luck points.
Yeah, dude.
All right. The upside is that your limbs become rubber-like and can stretch in weird and wild ways. The downside is that this mutation is hard to control, and it's going to take a successful cool check with no penalty to get your body back to its original shape. If you fail that cool check, you're going to get an ongoing guts penalty.
All right. Cool. So yeah, I guess like in my head too, they're like all this is happening, and then just like you just slowly I think in the scene of it, what you see is like Slime Boy getting all this lecture, and then like you just see like a tiny out of focus in the back of the screen. just Chuck walk over and just be like, yeah, boom. And then they all stop and turn to him.
All heads turn.
He's like, oh, I feel good. I feel good. And I feel, hold on. And then he just like takes his finger and like stretches it a little bit and like snaps back and stretches another one and snaps back and goes, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we can work with this.
How you feeling, Chuck? Feel good?
I feel like my arms are stronger. I'll tell you that much.
Nice. Give me one.
Yes. And I hand you one of the things. Shoot up.
Yeah, all right, let's get slimy.
All right, roll a D10 for me. What's happening?
I was curious whether it was like, hand me one and Chuck just plunges it into your palm.
Oh yeah. No, I love that too. You're
Yeah,
like,
you
give
should
me
go
one,
with
and
that.
I
You should
just
go with that.
go, cool, and like slam it into your forearm while like
And
these
I'm like-
generals and scientists are
I'm
like, what are you doing?
I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be a 9.
Listen, guys, this is a one shot. I'm not really super attached to my own livelihood.
All right, so this one is called Something Undead. So nothing happens at first, but when you die, you're immediately resurrected with 10 luck points, and all of your stats drop by 1. The upside is also the downside, because sure, you're technically alive and are no longer affected by guts penalties. However, every turn in combat, you must make a cool check with a +1 penalty to try and not eat your friend's brain. So you have a zombie bite attack now. When you die, not yet.
Right. I say that was weak.
Are you stretchy or what's up?
No, I'm not stretching at all.
Oh man.
Like, I don't
This is a
feel anything
ripoff.
right now. But as this happens, Severin, you see it first. There's an amphicora that comes walking up to the camp, and this amphicora has a walkie-talkie duct taped to its chest. And from it, you hear a voice, and it says, "Hello, Americans. I see Colonel Russell has sent more dogs to be put down. Well, good. I'd imagine your country wouldn't send anything but their best at this moment most dire. So I'll offer you something that I've not offered these fools, and that is a choice. Walk into that tent and procure the recipe for UMA and join my cabal or die." And there really isn't much choice when you think about it. For too long, we sat idly by, loyal patriots to our countries, while they dealt in secret with
I
our
just
enemies.
shoot the walkie-talkie from across.
Perfect.
We've heard enough.
That's gonna be 3.
So I will tell you this. Quick aside: you are the 4th person in all the games I've run of this that were like, I'm not going to wait for this monologue to end. So the walkie-talkie, like, you pierce it, you hit the amplifier drops dead.
I almost thought about, as soon as you said the walkie-talkie goes off, just being like, I shoot it.
So in the distance, on a dirt bike, you see a figure, and this figure is human per se, but a little bit different as well. It's something that, like, there's a big sniper rifle in its arms. There's a flak jacket strapped to its body, but it doesn't look fully human anymore. You could actually see kind of like gills on its neck and almost like kind of like a tiger striping going up its arms. This is the Jade Sniper. And the Jade Sniper is sitting on the back of a dirt bike at the top of the road outside of the camp. And he just starts peeling off shots in your direction. And he yells out, "Catch me if you can, American!" And he kicks down onto the side of the dirt bike and starts revving and starts riding off down the path into the jungle. What do you do?
I go check the barracks.
You go check the barracks?
Yeah. I mean, my thought is the action, the impulsy action response is like hop in a Hummer and chase after this guy. And also not 100% not what Severn would do at all. Like
that's perfect.
My logic is, this guy knows this area. He's on a dirt bike. I've got a large Humvee as an option. He's going to get away, and I'm not going to chase him right now. We'll deal with that problem.
So your friends are back in the tent doing God knows what.
So yeah, I just
Severn doesn't even know.
No, he has no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, I like watch the direction they head off generally, kind of noting whatever I can about them and storing that information for later. And I just step into the barracks and continue to what I was doing.
Jade Sniper art by Kelly Williams as well. Again, the barracks is 60 by 60 military tent, same kind of material, plastic windows and doors. Inside, you see you see the interior of the barracks is 20 cots with foot lockers at the base of each bed, 10 on each side of the room. Some are still pristine, some have been knocked over. 10 bodies lying on the floor, blood pooling around their heads like halos. Hole in the north wall of the tent where the bullets pass through. The air in here smells like sweaty plastic and humid death. They also have weapons in their hands or strewn about the floor. You can see, just looking down, M9s, K-bars, and grenades floating around on the floor. What do you want to do?
Oh man, it's so tempting to pick up some of those grenades, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna pick up a bag and put some grenades in it, so I can have a bag of grenades.
Pillowcase of grenades.
It's a -9 to roll ammo on grenades, so you might get 1. Or
okay,
yeah, if you're lucky.
I jump in the air for. It's my glitch of just jumping to do things. I get a grenade.
You get a grenade. Okay. So you get 1 hand grenade. So
No
how many items do you have in
jump
your
needed.
inventory?
I am I'm gonna put down I'm trying to flip over of all the things and look at my character sheet. Hold on. Figure out what I want to put down. I'm gonna take the Swiss Army knife I picked up. And I'm gonna put it in the glove compartment of one of the Humvees and grab this grenade.
All right. As that's happening, Lieutenant Greenway, Dagnassi, and Scorpion come out of the tent. They see the Jade Sniper in the distance, and they just start blasting. And they're like looking at you, like, "What are you doing?" Because the Jade Sniper is getting away. Anything else anyone wants to do?
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I trust you. I was just gonna say, does it look like Severin is like getting in the Humvee to move? Because if it's
Okay,
like,
we're on
it's
the same page.
carpool time,
Yeah.
then I'm hopping in that car.
Yeah.
It looks like that to you. I don't know how. I
100% think it looks like, if that's what you're looking out the door asking yourself, that's 100% what it's going to look like, while not at all being what is
okay,
happening.
cool. Then yes, then I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm
All
hopping
right,
in the car.
So
Yeah, and I jump on the. Is it open in the back? Is it like a Humvee with like a little is it fully covered Humvee, or is it a Humvee with a
Humvee with the rag top?
Okay. No, not with like oh my God, the back part of a truck called.
No, no. It's just it's like a
I
rag
need
top
to know. Thank you, God. Jesus Christ, a truck bed. Like,
yeah,
it's a truck bed with
is
with
what
a
I
rag
wanted.
top,
Yeah.
So
Cool.
There is a cassette and the cassette deck in the Humvee.
Yeah, excellent.
What's on the tape?
It's an audiobook.
What audiobook?
2005. What was hot? What is one of these guys?
What was everyone? Probably Harry Potter.
Yeah. He's catching up. That would have been like book 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that no one really liked, but it was like
Order
you
of the
had to get to
Phoenix.
the
You're
next
100%
one.
book
Yeah.
5. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. We're all on the same page. And
So you guys all hop in the Hummer. Dag Nasty, your Scorpion jumps in there as well.
and I'm like, oh,
Punch it, dude.
So
Also,
you,
also
we're going,
Crank it.
right?
I love this part where they go to the Harry's got to defeat Voldemort.
so you they like punch it, and you quick slam that tape in there, and like really like intense orchestral music starts playing at first, because it's an audiobook, so there's like this really intense the interstitial music.
welcome
And then
to the magical
it's
world.
like chapter like 72 talking in depth about like Hermione Granger's like spew campaign, and it's not even like the battle, it's just we're talking about workers' rights when it comes to like house elves.
Stephen Fry talking about elf rights.
So you gun it up the path. The route that connects Camp Betsy and Camp Denver is a mile-long dirt road, and it's the main thoroughfare on the island, surrounded on both sides by dense jungle and several paths that break off from the main roads. Camp Herbert, which is the island's main science camp, lies dead center between the other camps. At the half-mile mark on the road, the air here smells like moss and exhaust from the camp's generators. So you're cruising up the road, and the Jade Sniper, he's kind of like hovering on the motorcycle, kind of like bouncing up and down as he's kind of like going, like kind of like looking over his shoulder, like kind of like waiting for you guys to show up. And when
almost like he wanted us to chase him, and I wasn't going to do this until you yuckos all got in the.
Yeah. And
it's cool, dude. I've got superpowers now.
Wait, what?
At least sees you.
Yeah, I'm a super soldier.
Yeah, and I don't.
No, you probably do. You just haven't manifested yet. You know, like in the movies where maybe you just need to like get in a fight, and then you'll know what's up.
All right, hit me.
All right.
I didn't do anything.
Well, no. Make roll your damage for an unarmed strike for you, which is a higher one because you're a martial artist.
It's 5.
So Severin loses 5 luck points.
No, not me.
I'm sorry, Slime Boy. I got the wrong line.
Anything?
No, nothing. That just hurt.
Damn. All right.
Damn, you punch really hard.
Yeah, I do.
Sometimes
Sorry.
you have to tap into like an emotional core. Like you gotta find something down inside yourself.
Okay, someone hurt me emotionally.
You don't play jazz.
It's hard because
well.
I just don't know who you are.
Well, oh, come on. Of course you do. But we're going to talk about that later. That was a low blow.
You know, I was just lying.
Oh, I know. You're right. All right.
I am whipping through the jungle, following.
Are there funny games?
Him.
So you're flying through the jungle. The Jade Sniper sees you coming and goes, oh, and so starts hauling off on the motorcycle ahead of you. You're cruising on the right side of the road, though. There is you feel like a bump as you go over it. You trigger a pressure plate on the road, and on the right hand side, there is a pop-up panel of spikes that pop up to the front of the Hummer. Make an action check to dodge it for me.
All of us, or
I
Is it just
rolled a
the-
1.
Only the driver.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 1.
Nice.
So I see those things, and I hit up on an embankment, and we actually fly over the top.
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
And whoever's on the passenger side, you can see it, you can feel it scraping along the side, but it doesn't do any damage. For the next few things, your fates are completely at the hands of Severin, who's driving the Hummer. You jerk off the embankment, and you end up on the.
You're welcome, embankment.
No.
You know what? Take a luck point for that, man. That's you know what? Anytime you pop Sally, I'm going to give a luck point to you as a bonus. So says the game runner.
Terrible.
So you're on the other side of the road now. You hear a twang as you cross it. A tripwire gets set off by the Humvee. Make an action check for me at a +1, Tony.
It's almost like this was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's cool though.
Now I'm having a great time. Also, I think that Chuck and I are both in the back seat. That's my head
action score.
Is that we're together?
We're good.
All right, so
Yeah, it's like the little kids in the back seat while
Yeah,
Dad
exactly.
tries to drive it.
spin the wheel.
And we're like, wow!
And a whip of heavy branches comes swinging. It just misses. And the player in the front seat and the rear passenger on that side managed to not get hit by the debris. Finally, you hit one more trigger and make an action check +2 for me.
Oh, that's going to be a 7. That's still under.
So you hit something, and now you're kind of hip to it because you know something's coming. So you slam on the brakes real quick, and a giant log comes flying across the road like a massive would have wrecked you guys. And it flies up, and it flies past, and as it's going back, you hit the gas again. J Sniper turns off the road to the left. A shot rings out into the engine block, and the Hummer slows to a crawl. But you can see a path that goes into the jungle, and you can see the J Sniper riding his motorcycle a little slower up the path. The path goes up a little ways. What do you want to do?
The path is not big enough for the Humvee?
No, and the motor's dead. The engine block got shot out.
Oh, I missed that part. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we're just going to push it.
Yeah. I fix it.
I'll take off out of it. I'm gonna are there a lot of trees here?
It's a deep part of the jungle, but there's a clear path. It's a
Oh no, that's
path.
fine. I wanna get up in the tree, and I wanna be elevated, like I wanna run from treetop to treetop. So I'm gonna get up a tree and scamper into the woods.
Make 3 action checks for me at a +1.
Success. I don't know if there's a critical success function, but I did roll a 1 on the last one.
Yeah, you've disappeared into the trees. What does Slime Boy and Chuck want to do?
Just walk down the trail.
Yeah, walk down the trail.
Yeah.
All right.
Or run down the trail, I guess.
Yeah, start walking. I see him go up in the trees, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. Yeah, all right. And so he's in the trees, and are we just like keeping time?
Slime Boy's got an idea. Slime Boy's like, Chuck, you're really stretchy now, right?
Yeah.
We could probably go faster if your legs were like super long, and then you could carry me.
That's such a good idea. Hop on my back.
I hop on piggyback style,
and
I say, "Giddy up, baby!"
And I make my legs get longer, and I start stork running through down the trail.
So as this is happening, this trail it's 100 feet. The road's dirt covered in various bits of mud, sticks, leaves. The air is a thickness and stickiness. You can see large mosquitoes floating in the air all around you, and you can see it better from where you're at. So Dagnasty and Scorpion are like charging along the bottom, and you just have Slime Boy hop on your back, and you stretch up. And so while
Can we be? Can I stretch up so where the camera is watching Tony through the trees, and then you just see us like come up like behind him, and we're running through.
But like Tony is hauling, but you are taking great long strides like a gazelle, and you're kind of like not really running, but kind of going at the same speed as Tony. So you get to the edge of the clearing.
I got the nth speed.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. And you hear someone calling, "Help, help, anybody. He's got a nuke. He's going to destroy the island. Help." Coming from the clearing that's up ahead. Everyone, while you are doing this, though, make a quick guts check for me.
No problem.
We're good.
Problem.
How much did you miss by?
Math. 5.
So you could either take 1 ongoing guts penalty, which 3 drops your stat, 4 kills you, or you can give up 5 luck points to make that roll. To meet what you got to do.
Let's take the penalty.
All right, so you got 1 ongoing guts penalty. Not really bad, but it gets worse as it goes. Once you get to like the edge of the clearing, though, it's so irradiated, the mosquitoes won't even come in here. The clearing is 50 by 50 and in the shape of a kidney. Trees are crowding around all sides, with the exception that's one freestanding in the southwest corner. There's a visibly wounded soldier tied to this tree with jungle vines. The southernmost corner, there's a 10 by 10 bivouac made from large branches, leaves, and other bits scavenged from the island. Outside is several ammo crates and supply cases. 3 large trees line the path leading to the entrance of the clearing. You guys are right there at the edge of the clearing. You can smell blood in the air, and there is a wind blowing gently downwind towards you. Once you enter the clearing, you hear, "I know you're there, Americans." It seems that you're able to keep up. Good, but it's kind of echoing. You can't really tell where it's coming from. "I do enjoy a challenge. The grunts in this island weren't up to snuff, as it were. I guess it really is true what they say. It's so hard to find good help these days. So what do you want to do?"
I look over at Chuck and I go, What did you do?
It's cool, right? I took some of the MMA, man, and now I'm Groot, which is a reference that I don't understand because it's 2005.
Yeah, you're so far ahead of your time. Bullets.
I love comic books.
Bullet starts to ring out into the air. So it is your turn.
I guess you loop that way. I'll loop this way.
Word. Serpentine. Have I still got Slime Boy on my back?
Oh yeah.
Go.
Oh, dude.
Ride or die.
This is dope.
And I'm gonna whisper into your ear, and I'm gonna say, "Listen up. The moment we see that guy, you're gonna take me off, and you're gonna use your big stretchy arms, and you're gonna hold me out like a little baby, as close as I can possibly get, and we're gonna flame that bad boy."
Into it.
So
we're in there's a clearing, right?
Yeah, you can see him at the top of the clearing in the tree line. It would take you, even with your legs, 2 turns to get to where the Jade Sniper is at his current location. He's kind of like hidden behind the bivouac and the tree lines. He's kind of right there in the middle. He's just firing shots off into the air. So everyone decide what you want to do. And remember, you can do cool teamwork things, like the fastball special does exist in this world.
I mean, I think right now we're trying to.
Please don't sue me.
The plan is like loop around the edges, like putting distance between us and him, moving sideways so that it's hard for him to hit us, and we're giving him 2 moving targets.
And we murder everything inside of us. Again, what we did with the ninjas back in Pueblo.
Yeah, exactly what we did with the ninjas back in Pueblo.
If he's far enough that it would take 2 strides to get to 2 turns to get to him. What if Chuck, who has extendable arms, were to throw me at him?
I love it.
Like you could plant and twist and then rope
absolutely.
off your arms.
This is good. So what's gonna happen is like I'm gonna plant and twist as Severin's like moving to pinch her.
I'm gonna move and fire to draw his attention.
And I'm gonna get one of us airborne. So like it's turn.
You're gonna slingshot Slime Boy.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've got my flamethrower ready.
I'm slingshotting. So like I actually just okay. So I had to stretch one arm and grab a tree,
Yeah.
and then like other
Perfect.
limb, I basically like use it like a turnbuckle in a wrestling thing, and
Yeah.
launch Slime Boy with my arm slingshot.
Okay. So Chuck, are you gonna shoot as you're moving to try to draw?
Yeah, so like if I can we'll say that, I mean, like I'm gonna the
Well,
idea would be to huck Slime Boy and
Yeah.
then start like at this point I guess I'm very long.
Yeah.
What I want to do is move, and what I'm gonna try to do, I guess for like my like action or whatever, is that I'm gonna try to make a cool check to shrink as I'm moving, to like come back to size. So not only am I moving a moving target, I'm a shrinking moving target.
Okay, so that's fudging awesome. I didn't say it loud enough. I guess I still get one.
Yeah.
God. This is exactly why I wrote this game. So normally your cool check would be no penalty, but because you're doing all this stuff, I'm going to give you a penalty of you have a +1 penalty.
Okay.
Slime Boy, make an action check +1 to stay on target.
Not even close.
And did you make it?
No. I'd say I failed so badly that actually like one of my legs is getting a little stretchy, and like so I'm kind of like limping and flailing a little bit and like trying to come back in, but I do just look like Stretch Armstrong that like has lost all of its pull.
So you can use luck to make that check if you want to avoid the guts penalty.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I will, because I got a bunch to burn. Let me just
Okay.
go ahead and burn all 8 of these luck points to make that work. But yeah.
Slime Boy, did you make your check to stay on target?
So I did get a 10. However, I'm going to use 4 luck points.
All right, you got it. And Tony, Severin, you're running around the other way?
I'm moving and suppressing fire while this is happening. So I'm just like raining down crossbow bolts.
All right, roll your damage
near them. I don't want to hit them. I just like this is actually not me trying to attack them. This is me trying to set everybody else up.
All right, perfect.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I can roll damage, but I'm just aiming for the ground near them, not trying to do anything else.
Perfect. So so Dagnasty and Scorpion finally make it to the clearing. They drop down their knee and they're firing off at the Jade Sniper. The Jade Sniper drops behind a tree. You see where he's going, and you also see coming from the other side, Slime Boy and Chuck, and you're like, and you see them kind of winding up, and you know what's going on. So you just start dropping crossbow bolts into the ground to kind of maneuver the Jade Sniper into the perfect spot. Slime Boy, you get in there and you get launched. Yee! And you go flying.
It's going schoolly bop bop ba doo doo.
Yeah.
He's flying.
Are you going to fire? When are you going to fire the flamethrower?
Do it now.
It's gonna be like as soon as he is within range, because he's staying on target. So as soon as he is at the tip of the flame cone, that's when he's gonna start. So the flames are just gonna get more intense the closer he gets.
All right. So what I want you to do is this: roll your damage and then make an action check for me +1. So you're flying through the air. Chuck is like trying to get back into shape. And you're running, and as you're doing it, all your limbs are kind of snapping and going back and forth, like all the rubber bands are snapping at once. You kind of hit the ground, you stop for a second, you're like, whoa! And you're there, you're fine, you are back to your normal person. Slime Boy, what was your damage?
Oh, sorry, I was listening to the thrilling tale of Chuck, so I didn't roll yet. 9.
All right, that's great. And then action check +1 for me.
6. And that is at my action.
So you go flying overhead, and it's like an Apocalypse Now amount of fire just breathing down. Like, this is, if you have one moment in your life where you get to be a dragon, it's this moment, and the fire is going. But you manage to, you see a tree coming like right for you, and you kind of just drop the wand of the flamethrower and reach out, and you grab a branch, and you manage to kind of wiggle onto the tree and start to slide down. So you're on ground level now. As this is happening, the Jade Sniper starts to fall back into the forest and whistles. The bivouac explodes. And there's just wood and shrapnel everywhere. And this creature comes busting out to attack everybody. This is the Impaler. So the Impaler comes in.
Hello.
This is going to affect everybody. The Impaler's covered in spikes. It hulks out to smash the thing. It squeezes it tight and then extends its body, and all of its little spikes, the spike burst, comes flying at everybody. So spikes shoot out at you. You are all going to take 1 luck point of damage. But it sees you, Chuck, closest to it on the ground, and it charges in at you for a rolling thunder attack. It's going to do 4 luck points of damage to you. Make an action check for me with no penalty. Because it kind of does a shoulder tackle to you to see if it's going to launch you.
No.
All right.
That's
you
5.
You managed to stand your ground against this beast. Now it is everybody's turn. What do you want to do?
Oh man. All right. So it like rolled at me like it did like a rolling ball attack move.
Uh-huh.
All right. It's like right on me. I adjust just very quickly. I adjust my shades and in no way regret trading them for a grenade.
Yeah.
But I remember who I know does have grenades because we talked about it in the Humvee. Yeah, I guess. Man, I'm gonna get away from this thing. There's stuff on fire like everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. So like I'm gonna run away from it towards Severin, like back across, because this is like the only thing in the clearing now, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a tree with an American soldier who's tied up in bad shape that Dagnasty and Scorpion are tending to.
Cool.
Well, I've been looping the clearing, so I'm like across the clearing from you.
If you're looping, I'm gonna still loop. Then I'm gonna like head back, but I'm going to pull out my my bow and find like a box that's lit on fire or something, some sort of like there's fire everywhere. So I'm gonna light my arrows up and then shoot this thing, and that takes the damage penalty away.
It does.
So yeah, I go running over and I just pull out my bow and like I'm in First Blood Part 87, like just gonna like pull down and then like light them with it's like napalm fire too, right? Because it's flamethrower fire, so it's just gas everywhere. Yeah, definitely. So that's I'm gonna shoot 2 flaming arrows at this dude. That's 3 points of damage and 7 points of damage, so solid 10.
It howls in pain. It howls in pain, and then it decides it's going to start. It like refocuses on you. Slime Boy, what are you doing?
Okay, so just to clarify, what exactly happened to the Jade Sniper?
Disappeared into the jungle.
Oh, okay, cool. Did I get him at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
He is hurt, but he's still alive.
He's hurt but alive. Yeah, you lit him up.
All right. Okay, cool. I guess I'm gonna use my last flamethrower charge on this bad boy.
All right, roll damage.
This seems like a reasonable target to flame.
Yeah.
I've heard of barbecue skewers.
But
this is ridiculous.
Oh wait, it's damage is +3, right?
Yeah.
I forgot to add the +3 to my other roll. I don't know if you did it for me.
It's all I did. Jade Sniper's
good.
If you ever saw that recent Halloween movie where Michael Myers gets lit on fire a lot, and you're like, he's dead, should be, but we get a sequel, so yeah, that's
gotcha.
You know.
That is a 9. I added the 3.
Okay, you lit him up good. It howls, and you can see the spikes reforming on its body. What is Severin doing?
I should be helping everybody, but I'm just making my way around. I make my way to the far side of this, and I'm looking for any trace of where the Jade Sniper has slinked off to in the woods.
Make a brains check for me.
My best stat.
I love that we all use brains as our dump. It's the best.
Not like bad. I rolled at my brains. I rolled 4.
Okay. You see a path where he's going. So one of the things with 3-2-1 action, it's never like a thing where it's like if you like try to investigate something, you're not going to find it. You're always going to find it.
Right.
But how much of what you find here and there might depend on a brains check. So
Right.
you're specifically mid-combat looking for. Otherwise, I would just say, hey, it's going this way because
Right.
I can't stand making people roll for stuff like that. But
yeah, so I'm staying up high in the trees and trekking down this path trying to find him, rather than helping my friends fight this giant spike monster.
Yeah,
We got it under control.
I will say you do find him, but it's going to happen. You do find him, but you see him getting on a motorcycle, and he's turned the motorcycle around. He's about to head back out of the jungle. On the motorcycle, though, you see a metal box that's got a trefoil radiation logo on the back of it. And so he just starts hauling out of the jungle on that motorcycle.
Is it not possible for me to try to put a bolt in the back wheel?
You can try. Roll damage though, because it's a moving target.
So that is going to be 3 damage.
You hit the side of the bike, but you don't manage to get the tire.
Okay.
So Jade Sniper comes bouncing out of the jungle on this dirt bike, and he's flying towards the other side. While this happens, you lit the Impaler on fire. That was your last flame, right?
So I'm going to throw that puppy away.
The Impaler charges in on you. It's going to make a brawn check. It makes its brawn check. It grabs you.
Ooh, okay.
And it pulls you in close, and it gives you a hug. It's
Aww.
its Iron Maiden attack. You feel
Come here, buddy.
spikes pierce your flesh. It does only 3 points of damage to you, but you are going to have to make a brawn check to break free, or on the next turn, it's going to do double damage to you because you're in its spikes. That's it for the Impaler's turn. Jade Sniper zips off into the jungle. The opposite side. It's all of your turn. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna try and get my buddy free. So like I put
Thank
the 2 things
you.
and you got lit up. So like, yeah, this is the samurai sword comes out, and I am going to try to chop off one of its arms.
All right, 2 attacks. Do it.
Yep. So first swing for 1 damage, and second swing for. Oh, are you kidding? 1 damage again. Farts. I guess I just like ding, and just like hit.
Yeah, the flesh is very hard.
Yeah.
Tony, what are you doing?
I've turned back around. I'm thinking while I chew.
Having a snack. We turn around, Severin's just eating a friggin' Cliff Bar.
Hold on. I need nutrients. I need protein for this.
This thing's got a pretty big maw on it, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna like wait till it opens its maw and then like shoot 2 shots really quickly into the interior.
You could do it. It's one of those creatures that always has its mouth kind of open.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So, yeah,
also, its mouth is like sideways. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Its whole face is mouth.
So one of those is 6 damage, and the other one is 4 damage.
Just enough. It falls backwards and dies. You are still in its arms, though.
Yeah, when it falls backwards, I'm gonna go. Ah!
Yeah, it hits the ground. You take 2 more luck points of damage.
Ugh.
So, you're gonna get to grab some ammo shortly, because of these ammo crates. But the soldier gets undone from the tree, and he says, "My name is Sergeant Emma Kyle. I'm in charge of safeguarding the nuke Uncle Sam keeps here in case anything too dangerous happens to tries to make its way off the island. The bastard got it away from me, and he's looking to set it off in Camp Denver. He's gone insane. He's got it primed, and it's getting hot. It's going to keep spewing radiation until it goes off. The only way to stop it is to disarm it with this key," and he gives you a key off his dog tags. "It's suicide, but one of you has to, or else." Well, there's no or else, really. He's like, I've known the Jade Sniper for a while. It's such a small island. We used to play cards or go out from target practice together. He liked to show off, that guy could take the wings off a bumblebee at 2 miles. But one day he got injected with UMA and everything changed. He was always fanatical about his home country, so he was the first to sign up and be a test subject. It changed him. It wasn't apparent to a lot of people, but I find him behind the barracks on the other side of the perimeter, talking to no one. It got real weird. Then I noticed the Amphicorps would just stare at him. The UMA did something wrong. Point Nemo might be hell for some, but there's a lot of good soldiers with families back home. You got to save us. So there are 2 first aid kits, a full magazine each for the M9 and the M4, and 1 hand grenade.
Cool.
Sweet. No arrows?
No.
Cool.
You haven't been retrieving your arrows as we go?
Nah.
Oh, let's do that.
No, dude. Once you shoot an arrow, it's done.
Roll a D10 for me -4.
Me?
Yeah.
4.
There are no
Like
arrows.
I rolled an 8.
Oh, an 8.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look, there's 4 arrows. Once you guys make it back to the road, reinforcements arrive. 4 soldiers and 2 Humvees. They just missed a J Sniper on the way out. Dag Nasty says if he's got a nuke, then we're dealing with a lot of radiation trying to defuse it. I got an idea. I'm going to double back to Herbert and grab something. The rest of you head out to Denver and we'll try to take out that sniper. We've only got 1 shot at this, people. Let's go. So Dag Nasty grabs the key for the nuke, but Scorpion grabs his wrist. They exchange a long look. Steve, I'm going with you. And he looks back and says, Yuri, I wouldn't have it any other way. So Dag Nasty and Scorpion, they jump into the Humvee. Dag Nasty yells, all right, squad, we've got an island to save before speeding away. And that is the end of episode 2.
Awesome. I'm going to grab that second grenade and put them in a bag with the first grenade, and I'll have 2 grenades.
There you go.
Nice.
A bag of 2 grenades.
I'm gonna say, I don't know why, but I just got a feeling. I just got a feeling that if someone's got to do a suicide mission, it should be me.
It should be. Yeah, probably. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, if the UMA didn't work on you, obviously,
Yeah.
you'd just die.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe if I just if I get really stressed, maybe that's what's gonna do it.
Oh yeah, that's super stressful.
Maybe
Like
you need
yeah,
a
maybe
radiation
you get dead
catalyst to
stressed.
set it off.
Yeah. I'm into
if
it.
hitting me didn't work,
let's-
offending me didn't work, but you're on thin ice, buddy.
Yeah. Sorry.
And you
No,
look
it's okay,
delicious
I
for
get it.
some reason. So episode 3 is just a boss fight. So do we want to take a quick 5-minute break?
That sounds great. So we are playing Rocket to Russia right now. If you want to get entered into a chance to win a copy of your very own, you can hit follow on our channel over on Twitch and then hit Spy Life in order to get entered into a chance to win a copy if you want to. We'll pick the winner for that at the end of our stream today. But we are going to take a short 5-minute break, and then we're going to come down and have a boss showdown in episode 3. Do we need to do any? Do we need to do the bookkeeping stuff before we go or after we come back?
Whatever you'd like.
Well, I'll do when we come back. Well, I'll go ahead and we're going to take a 5-minute break. So we're going to come back at 5 till the top of the hour. If you want to go let your friends know that we are playing, we'll be right back for a showdown after this. And we are logging here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'm having a blast playing Rocket to Russia. We've got the GM here with us, John Hambone McGuire. John, for people who aren't familiar with your work, tell us about, besides being one of the co-designers on Rocket to Russia, some of the other stuff that you do in the RPG scene.
So I am the co-host of the Vintage RPG podcast. Stu Horvath is Vintage RPG. He's been running it on Instagram and on the internet for about 4 years now, 3-ish years ago. He and I launched a podcast together. We do a weekly show where we talk about classic RPGs as well as new RPGs and what's coming out and what's new and happening now. We just had Tony on, or actually Monday's episode is going to be, thank you, Tony's episode where we talk about Down We Go.
Awesome.
So, we're constantly keeping in touch with people. We do a sometimes bi-monthly indie RPG elevator pitch brought to you by our friends over at Exalted Funeral, where we highlight a creator and what they're doing. Just give us the elevator pitch about your product. So we love doing that.
Yeah. It was a blast to come on. It was really fun to kind of get a peek behind the scenes. It's a phenomenal show. I also love that it is an incredibly digestible show. It always stays under 30 minutes pretty much. And so really easy to pop in and listen to if you're looking to dive into vintage RPGs or find out what's cool in the indie scene. But that's not what we're here doing right now. We're here playing Rocket to Russia. We've been traipsing across this slowly getting irradiated. But I'm going to hand it back over to you. Oh, after I remind everybody, hit follow if you have not yet, and then type an !Spy Life if you're here watching on Twitch to get entered into a chance to win your very own copy of Rocket to Russia.
All right, before we get into episode 3, real quick, end of the episode wrap up for episode 2. Everybody roll a d10 and take that many luck points back.
Yeah, baby.
Nice.
So lucky.
You're gonna need it. We're going into the.
I
boss
rolled
fight
crappy,
right now.
but I still now have more health points than I did when we started.
I also am luckier than when we started.
And that's the thing with this. I mean, because you look at every action movie you watch, you're like, wow, that guy got blown up really good, but how is he still standing? How are they still standing? You know, this is all based off of luck, so you can get lucky as you go. Real quick, end of the episode wrap up. Best action sequence is gonna go. I'm gonna split it up 1 luck point each for Slime Boy and for Chuck. Best comedy, I'm gonna give to Chuck. I'm sorry, I'm gonna give to Slime Boy 1 more luck point because How to Train Your Dragon to Survive Getting Launched Across an Island. I love it.
It actually made me look up something the internet didn't know, and that is, how fast can you move while using a flamethrower? The internet doesn't actually have an answer to that, which I think anytime you can look up something the internet doesn't know the answer to, you're playing your game the right way.
I think so.
There's no proof that we can't do it. We can do it.
Yeah, because I mean, ostensibly understanding how a flamethrower works, you probably can't fly through the air spraying liquid, like slow-moving liquids in front of you without hitting them, but none of that matters in this game, and that's what I love about it.
That did not even occur to me, but we got him, so it's fine.
It should. You should never let that stop you from having a great idea.
There was a point where it occurred to me that, like, if we threw him well enough, he could shoot the flames and then like come through the flame with like a knife.
Yeah,
and like attack afterwards. Like you spray the flame, drop the jet.
If you weren't going fast enough, you could have shot the flames behind you, or if you're coming in too low, you could have shot the flames underneath you and drafted on the. There's all kinds of 100% scientifically accurate things you could have done with.
We'd have put a little more spin on Slime Boy, have like sort of a flaming just death wheel going through.
I love it. All right, episode 3, Coffees for Closers. So it's October 4th, 2005, 1700 hours, 1 hour until the squad is going to get extracted. So this is another suburban block size camp. It's called Camp Denver. Gates are 6 foot tall, hardened steel. Chain link fence on either side of the gates, rigged with the barbed wire, the defense lights. The gate's been blown off its hinges at this point. Denver has several different buildings in it. In the center of town, there are twin flagpoles, each bearing the flags of the 2 countries that work together to create this place, both lowered to half-mast out of respect for those fallen on the island. There is a science lab, a commissary, and to the north wall of the camp, there is a staircase that leads to an observation deck with another staircase that leads down to the beach, which is the extraction point. You can smell the air coming off the coast, and it's a cool breeze. As you get near the camp, everyone make a quick guts check for me for radiation.
Cool. I'm fine. I have so many guts.
I'm just going to consume a pill.
I got more guts than Mike freaking O'Malley.
I'm not fine. I'm 2 over.
Okay, I mean, you can use luck points, or you can just take it.
I'm just going to take it.
So you have 2 ongoing guts penalties. So just bear that in mind. As you rush towards the gate, you're greeted by the familiar sound of gunfire and screaming as the soldiers in the camp are waging full-on battle with the Amphicora. There's an air raid siren going off in the distance as another part of the camp is seeing what's yet to come before you do. You can see the Jade Sniper at the base of the flagpoles. You can see the bomb set up behind him, smoke billowing out of it. Over all of this cacophony, you hear the distant whirring sound. When you look in the sky, you see a bomber plane making its way towards the island. So this is flying towards you, strafing bullets as it flies by over the Jade Sniper. Also, Kelly Williams did this beautiful artwork. So what does everyone want to do?
I'm going to punch the plane with my brass knuckles. Nah, I don't think that'll work.
I think you could figure out a way to do it. And I'll allow it. But we're going to make some rolls.
I think it's more fun to combine things. I would love to have you launch me into the air. Like, I would love to rubber band slingshot out of your arm towards this plane. You got it.
Yeah. If you're up in the tree and we see that coming, I think we immediately just like lock eyes and like
yell trampoline.
Tramp it.
This is Pueblo all over again.
Yeah. Just like Pueblo. And like, so I'm gonna like flip back and turn my whole body into like a trampoline. Like and then allow you to launch yourself off of me. I'm holding on to 2 trees. Right, and I have become a big giant trampoline.
All right, so you're gonna get you're a trampoline. You're gonna get launched. There are Amphicora going to be in next turn. They're kind of running into the camp from the side.
I see them.
What is Slime Boy doing?
So I think I want to go for the Jade Sniper. So once Operation Trampoline is done,
okay,
I'm gonna ask to get flung again. And see if I can get off 2 shots in midair.
Perfect. So what I want you to do is roll your damage.
Double trampoline then.
Don't tell me what that is yet.
Okay, I guess I could just use the trampoline.
Yeah.
Roll the damage?
Roll your damage. Don't tell me what it is yet.
Okay.
Tony, what are you going to do when you get launched in the air?
I've pulled out while I'm on my way down. I've pulled out my crossbow and a grenade. While I'm on my way back up, I've attached a grenade to that crossbow, and I am headed towards the plane as fast as possible. And I yell, "Catch me if you can!" as I take off towards
I love
that.
It. All right, so neither of you are going to have to make an action check for this because you're not trying to actually fly directly at something. You're just trying to get to a point where all of this works. Slime Boy, what kind of damage are you doing?
What kind of damage or how much?
What's your damage total?
Slashing, piercing, what are we up to here?
8.
8, okay. Roll damage for me on the grenade, Tony, please.
What is damage on the grenade?
The grenade.
+5, baby.
Yeah, it's +5.
Do I need to roll damage for the other thing also too?
The arrow.
The arrow.
The arrow is simply the vehicle.
So it's +5. I do +2 when I'm doing damage in midair. Also,
yeah,
too.
You do. Yeah, you do.
D10 +7,
which makes it 16 damage.
Suck it, plane.
To temper the 16 damage, I totally forgot to subtract 2. So that's actually 4, not 8.
4? Okay, no problem. So both of you make an action check +2 for me. Tony and Tony and Slime Boy.
It's my real name now.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to fail on an action check. I'm going to go ahead and spend a couple of luck so that I don't.
Okay.
Action check +2.
Yeah.
Do I get to know what it is before I decide whether or not I want to spend luck?
You don't.
Because I got a 12.
Okay. What's your action?
6.
So you could either spend 6 luck points or just see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
All right, I love it. I love where your head's at with that. All right, so the plane is strafing bullets down. The Jade Sniper just starts taking shots. So how this works is the bullets are strafing down from the plane. So everybody is going to take 6 luck points of damage, unless you can make a successful action check +1, except for you, Chuck, because you're stuck where you are. So Tony and Alex, make an action check for me at +1.
I succeed handily.
Succeeded.
So I'm going to take the hit, though.
You're going to take the hit. So you're going to take
Okay.
Chuck takes 6 luck points of damage. The bullets are strafing down. The Jade Sniper sees you guys, and the Jade Sniper is getting ready to attack. However, first one gets launched into the air is Severin. Severin goes flying. You launch that grenade, and the arrow kind of notches right in front of the pilot, and he sees the grenade, the ring of the grenade kind of around the arrow, and the grenade kind of just swivels around a couple times and then slides off.
Yes.
As that's happening, Slime Boy gets launched into the air. Slime Boy, you're launching shots over at the Jade Sniper. Jade Sniper gets hit twice, and you can see the Jade Sniper is visibly charred. The grenade goes off and explodes the plane in one fell shot. There is shrapnel, wings, pieces of the plane flying everywhere. However, this explosion does knock Slime Boy off course. Slime Boy, you fall to the ground a few feet from the Jade Sniper. You are going to take 3 luck point damage and make a guts check for me at a +1.
Okay. 3 and guts +1. That's not good. And somehow I succeeded.
Very lucky. Okay. So, Chuck, are you going to undo yourself from there?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for a
Make a cool check.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna spend 2 luck to pass it.
All right, you whip back into shape.
So yeah, I just really I can't, and then I concentrate so hard it hurts me a little bit, and then snap back.
Severin, by the way, the check you made before means you landed gracefully.
Okay.
You're about 15 feet from the Jade Sniper at this point. Jade Sniper is going to peel off 3 shots with the sniper rifle. First one to you, Severin. It does 10 points of damage.
Okay.
10 luck points damage. Second one over to you. Chuck does 8 points of damage.
Holy shit. Okay.
Third one over to you. I actually miss you, Slime Boy. I rolled a 1.
Can't get me, too slimy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. Was your 8 points of damage that hurt a whole lot?
Yeah.
So the Amphicora are now in the camp. They're gonna hurl spears at you guys.
I took plane damage too, man.
Yep.
And then spent some luck to snap back.
Miss Severin.
Look.
See how much luck I got left. Yeah.
You're drinking and stuff's coming out of holes all around your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
I missed Chuck and I hit Slime Boy for 2.
Oh, okay. I can handle that.
But while this happens, the Jade Sniper starts to try to drop the sniper rifle and tries to peel away from the flagpole. As this happens, Steve and Yuri arrive at the camp with Yuri behind the wheel of the Humvee and Steve wearing a full spacesuit. So Scorpion's driving. Dag Nasty is in a full spacesuit with a laser mounted to his left arm. They come in guns a-blazing, and Steve dives out and makes a beeline for the bomb so he can disarm it. And as this, and he's trying to start disarming the bomb. Now it is all of your turn again. The Jade Sniper and the Amphicora trying to block his escape. He's headed for that the staircase to try to get off the island.
How far did he move this? How far did he move after he shot?
He made it like 30 feet. He's fallen.
All right, no, that's fine. I was very close to him, so I am on his heels. You said he's trying to make it up a stairway.
He's headed towards the north wall of the island, where there's a stairway that leads up to an observation deck that will lead down on the other side of that deck to a beach.
How far am I? I'm trying to do a little fictional positioning here. I want to get up on top of the wall before him, so I just want to run to the wall and run up it rather than go up the staircase.
You can absolutely do that, but there are Amphicora that are going to be in your way, so you could run and shoot as you're going.
I mean, I really think this is more of a dedicated. I want to dodge through. Like, I mean, I could hit. Maybe I'll hit one if it pops up in front of me, but otherwise, it's total dodge, get up and and be blocking the maneuver.
All right, so just make an action check for me to dodge, and then you're up the wall.
I successfully make it.
So you dodge these two Amphicora that get in your way, and like you make it to the base. He is almost to the stairs. And you just parkour your way up to the top of that landing.
Cool.
All right. What is Chuck and what is Slime Boy doing?
So Steve is trying to disarm the bomb.
He's
right?
disarming the bomb. Yeah.
Is he in the process of doing that already?
He's in the process of doing that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna offer to do it for him, but he's already doing it.
Yeah, he's in first in line.
All right. You go, Steve. Then so I guess I'm just gonna follow Severin.
Well, there's several Amphicora, like probably at least one for each of you, like in between you and the Jade Sniper.
Oh, okay, all right. I can get some of those puppies. I'll try to take two of them.
All right, roll your damage.
9 minus 2 is 7, and 2 minus 2 is 0. 7 and 0.
All right, so the one you kill, the second one you miss, and it's going to charge in at you in a minute. Chuck.
Yeah, I'm looking. I've got a line on one of the. I've no bendingness. This is very very straightforward turn. I'm gonna find a burning piece of shrapnel and light to just move to it, light 2 arrows on fire and take 2 shots at an Amphicora coming at me, and it's gonna take 3 and 6.
So you run up. You're and I gotta say, like, it's gotta feel weird because have you ever had your arm like completely fall asleep on you?
Yeah, I imagine how I feel. Yeah, I've just
like you feel it not so much in your legs, but in your arms. It's just kind of like like in that weird pinching feeling that comes after the falling asleep part. So you got your bow out, you grab 2 arrows, and you kind of like run them along the ground against a piece of flaming debris. Kind of like if you ever seen someone kind of like light a match off their boot. Same thing, just right in there. 1 shot to the one in front of you, 1 shot to the one that Slime Boy missed. They both drop dead.
Yeah, dude.
Tony, Tony, you're up there. The Jade Sniper, your action was to get up there.
Correct.
Jade Sniper sees you up there, and he stops dead at the bottom of the stairs. Draws his handgun on you and fires off 2 shots. Hits you for 6 points of damage and misses you with the second one.
All right.
Your turn, everybody.
Do we have any more fish boys?
No, you have a clear shot between you and the Jade Sniper.
Oh, I'm going for him.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm backflip. Since he stopped at the bottom, I'm gonna like flip off the landing midair, upside down. Like, you know, we see things zoom in behind me, and then like we track the bolt as it bolts as it fires towards him.
Can we all take shots at this
can we all
fucker at
shoot
once? Can we do
simultaneously?
it just simultaneously?
Yeah,
like
we're just
there's
line
like
'em
this,
up.
the screen
Yeah.
splits into 3 and goes
Yeah.
in on all of our eyeballs,
Yeah.
and we just like slow-mo. You see just like hands going to bolts and hands going to guns, and as I draw my drawn bow like arrow across some flame and shoot it.
And all of them are tracking the arrows and the bolts and the as they just like
they're all coming
simultaneously
together
all at
and
the
the-
same time.
Converge.
And so I rolled between the two, rolled 17 damage.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to roll, but roll the damage for funsies because I want to see how damage this is.
I rolled 10 total. Yeah.
I rolled 8.
Beautiful. So like the first thing that hits is the 2 arrows on the ground. It kind of pins him back. One of them just pierces his lower abdomen. One of them kind of like pins him to the wall as he falls back. What are your 2 shots coming from you? Rip through him, Tony. Severin
And light
does that
him on
flippy-
fire.
Yeah, he's burning. Tony does the flip, drops the arrows in. What does Tony say in this moment? I'm sorry. What does Severin say in this moment?
I should have been absolutely prepared for that. It's 100% what he says. Like he says, I should have been prepared for this.
Wish I had the cool line.
No, yeah. We'll pause for a second.
Think about this.
I'll think about this. It deserves more than a throw off.
This is the moment.
Catchphrase.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything that's coming to my mind is dumb jokes like whoopsie daisy or other stuff like that. Let's see. Anybody else got a pitch?
Yeah, think about it as a group. What is said in this last shot?
Catchphrases for Sever. It says, let's see. This could be something about Jade. Something about you already did Catch Me If You Can, which was the only thing that the Jade Sniper ever said to us out loud. Something about we've made sushi jokes.
You should have given us more catchphrase material.
Yeah. You're not a very good improv audience.
Yeah.
And then you fucking bump it forward.
Yeah,
I actually like.
You didn't. Yes, and us.
I do think this is more like the callback to like me not wanting to chase him. Like I think there's something more like I shoot him and then I actually land down on the other side, and like we see these other things ripping into him now from like third person perspective. And I guess that makes 2 of us who didn't want me to chase you through the woods.
Yeah.
Doink doink, and he sits there and he kind of like slinks back and like blood just pours out of his mouth and he kind of like he looks very, very dead. He looks really, really bad. But while the battle rages on around you and he lie there, Steve, as he defuses the bomb.
Wait, do I get to say something cool for my 2 shots?
Oh yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to say that he's already dead by the time that my 2 shots are hitting him, and it seems like Slime Boy is gonna scat one more, for a 3rd time, but instead he just says, "Show's over," and he takes a bow.
He's like, there, that's it. That's the one. Does Chuck want to add anything, or?
Chuck afterwards walks over and just goes, "Man, you look pretty dead, dude." Not like a catchphrase kind of guy.
Not for me.
Why my movies aren't doing very well.
So as you guys are talking shit, Steve is defusing the bomb with only the spacesuit to shield him.
Steve, are you done? What's going on?
As the timer
We
counts
won.
down the final minute, Steve pulls out the key, and you hear a gunshot. And you look down, and the Jade Sniper is laughing. He fires a perfectly placed bullet, smashes through the visor of the spacesuit. Steve drops to the ground.
Steve, no!
When you look at the source, the Jade Sniper kind of, and he chuckles and spits up blood, and he says, "Foolish Americans." He looks pleased with himself, but then notices that he's surrounded by a group of Anphacora that don't pay any attention to you whatsoever. He starts yelling out, attack them, and they kind of just brush past you and they grab him and they start dragging him into the jungle. And the last thing you hear is him screaming, no, and the futile clicks of an empty handgun. You turn around and see Steve start to rise. When you look, his visor, you can see his face is a bloodied mask, but the bullet looks like it only grazed his skull. However, radiation from the bomb begins to seep into his suit. His skin starts to burn, the blood bubbling, and he spits up dark blood onto his chin. He takes one last look at Yuri and smiles. He knows he must persevere, and so he does. Steve pushes through the pain and manages to stop the bomb with only seconds left. Steve gives everyone a thumbs up before collapsing to the ground. You can see his skin begin to shrivel. Yuri runs over and cradles Steve in his arms, knowing that he's dying. He begins to get sick himself as he, too, is overwhelmed with the radiation now pouring off of Steve's body. Yuri knows he's out of time and, without hesitation, makes the only move he has left. He says a silent prayer, pulls a syringe full of UMA out of his pack, and jams it into Steve. Nothing happens for a moment, but then a green glow starts to shine out from the spacesuit. It becomes so intense that Yuri must move away to be able to catch his breath. He vomits and then pops an iodide pill while he waits for the world to stop spinning. I'm the ranking officer now. Get to the Seawolf. Get off this island and don't look back, Yuri orders. And he points up to the observation deck. What do you do?
You two don't want to come? I mean, we're superpower buddies now. You can come with us.
Also, everyone's dead. We can just grab you and
we can
all
just go. You don't have to stay here.
It's all there's all the radiation.
He screams out, go.
The radiation does not bother me even a little bit.
So as all this happens from the top of the landing, you see the same thorny, mangled tentacles that first greeted you when you arrived on the island reaching over, and from the top wall, a battle-damaged night swimmer appears. The body in lightning flashes and strobes the cloud as you see the outline of it.
God damn it.
Its two eyes lantern-like, being held aloft by familiar-looking tentacles. You hear Yuri scream, "My God, what is that?" And Yuri just steps up.
Pre-calamari, that's what it is.
Firing at the night swimmer. The night swimmer's body begins to throb and then crumble. With a heavy thud, it hits your side of the camp. You catch its eyes, which no longer look full of rage, but seem saddened and in pain. It lets out a final sigh, and its black eyes roll back to white. It almost seems serene in death. Then you hear a crack. It's deep and resonant. You can feel it rumble through the sand. Thunder seems to amplify the loud, sickening sound of bones breaking. The night swimmer's head splits open, and 4 spawn of the night swimmer, dripping in brains and unspeakable fluids, slither out to attack you. And so from its dead skull, it births 4 of these creatures. If you take a look, this is another Kelly Williams, all spawn of the night swimmer. They go to attack you. What do you want to do?
I want to get off this.
Can we retcon that one of them has red shirts, Oakley sunglasses? For on the back of it,
Absolutely. When it actually turns, you could actually see but now they're no longer hanging off the back like this. They're facing the right way, shielding it from the light. So what do you all want to do? You got these creatures are attacking you.
I super duper thought we'd won.
Yeah. Can we get our 2 boys and the rest of us on the submarine that's getting us, right?
You can't really get near Steve right now. It's all radiation.
Okay.
I'm gonna start charging towards them while pulling out last grenade and everything, and trying to I would like to place a grenade. Are there 2 of them that are close enough together that I could catch them in a blast?
100%.
Absolutely. That's going to be my first shot, and my second shot will be just at a third one of them. And so I'll start charging them.
All right, roll your damage. What's Chuck doing?
Yeah, Chuck like takes one last look back at Steve, and I'm like, oh. And he just pulls his samurai sword out, and he's gonna try to slice and dice like one or two of them in the air. I'm gonna play some Squid Ninja.
So that is a 15 on the grenade, and then a 6 on the second bolt.
You explode.
Hey, what's up, kids? Both of my slices were at a 6, so that's 6 and 6.
You got it. What about you, Slime Boy?
Wait, so are there any left for Slime Boy to
There are, and there appears a couple more popped out of the head and just kind of ran off in the other direction.
Okay. Then yeah, man, I am so emotionally attached to Steve and Yuri. So I'm just gonna be like, we got this. We're dealing with this, and I'm just gonna try to shoot 2 of them. And that's not anything. That one misses. And 4.
You got it. So you're hacking the hell out of these spawns of the Night Swimmer. As Slime Boy fells the last of it in your area of the field, you turn to see Yuri pinned down by 2 of the monsters. One's razor sharp beak comes perilously close to decapitating him, but a brilliant red laser shines through the darkness of the storm and cuts the spawn in half. Yuri manages to get his legs under the second that comes for him, pushing it away, and you see it stumble back and bump into a familiar shape, a silvery astronaut suit. All the flesh from Steve's face has been burned off, leaving a glowing green skull. Steve grabs the Night Swimmer by the head and legs and with little effort tears it in half. What was once Steve Dagnasty Kennedy looks at you and lets out an unholy scream. The red laser flares and burns the sand at your feet, leaving behind a line of smoking glass. Yuri yells, "Run! Never look back!" And the sub arrives on the other side of the wall. And your watches all ding as they were synced up in the beginning. It's time to go.
I get on the sub.
There's like no way we can win this fight with love. Huh?
Yeah, we're like fire. I'm firing bolts back as we like slowly make our way, as we properly strategically make our way to the sub and get on.
Well, Yuri, it was nice to meet you. Stay groovy, stay slimy, and
no encore, Slime Boy. We gotta go.
All right, heading out.
We're like grabbing Slime Boy like by the coattails of the
It was really nice to meet the both of you.
Come on. We gotta go.
Yuri gives you a tearful as you go, and you make it into the sub. The sub hatch begins to close, and so ends the adventure. There's some epilogues. I don't know if you want me to read you the epilogues, but I think we are done.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to hear the epilogues.
I want to know.
Please.
All right. So these are the epilogues after the credits. You sit at an oak table across from 2 men in black. It's a small room with the cinder block walls, and it feels claustrophobic. We have confirmation that codename Jade Sniper has been terminated. You've completed your mission. Well done. One of them tosses a black and white glossy photo of the Jade Sniper with a red line drawn over it. You've proven yourselves to be great assets to your country, and we thank you. We know you'll keep certain information about Point Nemo top secret. The world is simply not ready to know yet, and we'd like to keep it that way. Before we let you go, they look at each other uncomfortably. One of the men reaches into a folder and pulls out an incredibly detailed satellite photo. In it, you can see Steve in his astronaut suit sitting on a makeshift throne. He looks bigger somehow. Surrounding him in concentric circles are 50 Amphicora kneeling before him. What can you tell us about this? Scene 2. A mobile home 60 miles outside of Sturgis, South Dakota. A woman sits in a dark, beat-up mobile home 60 miles outside of Sturgis, South Dakota. Her voice is fiendishly familiar as she talks into a dented microphone rigged up to a tiny desk. This DJ Plague Doctor, coming at you from Nowheresville, USA, where I've apparently overstayed my welcome once again. So it's high time I move on. She glances over her shoulder and rolls her eyes at the pictures of federal agents hung haphazardly on a corkboard. The photo is overlapped with crude drawings of weird amphibious creatures surrounded by a constellation of pushpins, connecting the tableau together with thick, red strands of thread. Everyone's favorite Uncle Sam's got a little too close for comfort this time, so I'll be going underground for a little bit while I find some new digs. She ties some fishing wire to the arm of a cheap record player and drops the needle on the outer groove of the vinyl. My Way by Sid Vicious starts to play as DJ Plague Doctor leaves her audience with some parting words. So this is going to be the last episode of I Wish I Didn't Know for the time being, at least until the heat dies down. And I promise I'll be back sooner than you think. I want you to know, dear listener, that I regret nothing about telling the truth about the Amphicora, about the island, about everything. To my fans and fanatics out there, just remember that as long as we live, the truth will never die. Until we meet again, this is DJ Plague Doctor signing off. As the song plays out and the needle crosses over to the dead zone, the fishing wire grows taut and releases the trigger on a Claymore mine. The mobile home explodes, and in the distance, DJ Plague Doctor slips away into the night. Then finally, Scene 3, the wheelhouse of Tanzir's Conquest 2. In the wheelhouse of Tanzir's Conquest 2, Captain Teresa Gale smells something in the air that troubles her. It's that sweet yet pungent aroma that strikes before lightning does. She knows all too well what that means. It's been 3 days since they left the port, 3 days of perfect weather and smooth sailing. With every beat of her seafaring heart, she knew it was too good to last. An ill wind rolls in from the east just after midnight, bringing with it a dense fog and furious seas. The clouds darken above, and slow, heavy rains fall above the ship. The storm lashes the poor vessel with all the ferocity of a wrathful Poseidon looking to reclaim his seas. Captain Teresa Gale sends a silent prayer before making one last desperate call for help on the radio. She knows with the sinking feeling, neither will be answered.
Dang.
That's it. That's all we got.
Dang.
Right. It is time now for Reaction Roll. Reaction Roll is a live stream within a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game that we just played and talk to them a little bit about what our experience was like, what our thoughts were, and ask them some questions. If you're joining us live and you have questions about today's game, Rocket to Russia, which is part of the 3-2-1 action RPG system, you can feel free to ask them in the chat. Also, we'll be glad to share them with you. First up, let's hear from today's GM and one of the co-designers of Rocket to Russia and the 3-2-1 action system. That is John Hambone McGuire. John, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also tell us about Rocket to Russia.
Thank you, man. So I'm John Hambone McGuire. I'm the co-host of the Vintage RPG podcast. I'm the co-creator and co-writer of 3-2-1 Action in our first adventure, Rocket to Russia. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at John McGuire RPG. I don't really do much, but when I do it with panache. You could also check out 3-2-1 Action, 321actiongames.com. It's got links to Exalted Funeral where you can buy the book, links to it where you can get the PDF, and other fun stuff on there. We've got a free quick start rule set. We've got character sheets up there for free. Just go on in and grab it and tweet on the street. There might be a little rule book coming soon, so keep your peepers peeled for that as well. I was really excited to start up 3-2-1 Action. I started it last year. I always wanted to write. I always had stories I wanted to tell, but I never really had I didn't have enough faith in myself to do it. And then like last year, I was like, there's no time like the present. It's time to show up for yourself finally. So I started writing this adventure. And then my best friend George got involved with me, a few months later because I kind of needed to prove to myself that I could do it. And so I wrote a bunch of stuff. He came in, we went over the rules together. He found everything that was really great about the ideas that I had for the rules and then turned the volume up to 10 and made them even better. Came up with some new rules himself. We really collaborated on this together. I don't think anyone really creates alone, so I can say with 100% confidence that he and I are 100% equal in this, and the things that are great about this, they really do come from both of us. I wanted to create a system that was easy for everyone to pick up and play. I wanted to create a system that helps you kind of reenact all the great things and scenes you see in movies and books and the stories that you grew up loving. And I wanted to do it in a way where it was really accessible for everybody. And that's where the rule set comes in. I initially started out with a really classic OSR style rule set with multiple dice and all this stuff, and we just kept whittling it down until everything's based off the roll of a single D10. And we created the game runner. That's what we call the GM in 3-2-1 Actions, the game runner, because you're just really kind of running the show. You're equal to everybody at the table. There's no mastery involved, so there's no kind of feeling like you need to know everything, because you can just do everything on the fly here. And you've all seen you guys want to do some really crazy stuff, and we figured out a way to make it work and keep it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
So, we want everyone to be able to come to this party and feel comfortable coming to this party. I recorded an audiobook version of this because I know everyone learns and experiences things in different ways. So I wanted to try to make it easy for everybody. So there we are. Retail in action.
Well, I had a blast playing, but let's meet some of our other players, and we will hear from them what their experiences are like and any questions that they might have for John. Again, if you're watching live, or even if you're watching later in the replay on YouTube or on Facebook, go ahead and type in your questions. I'll draw John's attention to them, and we'll get you an answer if there's one to be had. Let's hear up first from one of my top 26 favorite. I think you've made it up to at least 24 favorite now.
I hope so.
Our Alex Murray. One of my top 26 Alex Murrays are Alex Murray. Otherwise, the joke doesn't land. Alex, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, but also what it was like to play Rocket to Russia.
Sure. I'm Alex. Our Alex Murray all over the internet. The tickies, the talkies, the instas, the Grammys, the tweeters, the twatters, whatever you need to find me on. And I am a Brooklyn-based actor, comedian, musician, jack of many nonsenses. I've piddled around with designing some games just because of being involved with this channel and these wonderful people. And yeah, that's me. This was a blast, man. I mean, if folks have seen me on streams before, I tend to go into like, I want to stunt and I want to get weird. And this game was really built for that. So thanks for that. I think we were talking about it in the Discord before the game. I was like, oh yeah, let's absolutely get weird. And then you made me a stretchy boy.
That was the best.
Very, very, very absurd. And yeah, I guess question wise, I really like the how easy the system was. The D10 I think is a stroke of genius to have one be you're not always going for high and you're always going for low. That's cool. None of us really, the gut check didn't come in, but that seems like a cool mechanic that I'd like to see work. And I guess I've got two questions. One, is it more deadly usually than it was or ever? Have you run games where like you got people dropping like flies? Because it feels like there's the potential for player characters to eat it.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you very much for talking about me like I was not in the room. I appreciate it. They feel very good. So the D10 thing, real quick, that was George. So I initially, when I was going to do a D100 rule, and he's like, well, if you really want to make it accessible, if you really want to make it easy, why just drop a 0, make it a D10? And then we kind of hashed it out from there. Yeah, it's definitely, there's times it's definitely been deadlier. The guts check thing does come into play more. I've seen it happen more in other games that I've run of this, because it also depends on what the characters do and other checks to see, like, a lot of things that you did, you managed to make the right checks that would negate having to do a guts check. But I've definitely seen players come within like one roll of dying by guts checks because 4 and you're dead. But it's definitely like Alex was very close to having all the stats dropped. That is something I've only really seen happen a couple times, but when it does, it really does escalate the situation. So, it depends on the players. I will say, to your credit, you all picked up the right things, I think, for what you wanted to do. So it worked.
Yeah, it's awesome. Alex, did you have any other questions or any other thoughts you wanted to pop in?
I think I had one, and this is always my problem. I had a question, and I didn't write it down, and I started listening to your answer about the other one, and I forgot.
That's right. If you think about what it was, we'll come back to you later on. So now we had a double Alex day, so we've got our other friend Alex from Strong Branch Productions. Alex, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online, and what it was like to play Rocket to Russia.
Yeah, totally. My name is Alex Kingsley. I am a writer, comedian, game designer, all those fun things. I, like Tony said, I work at Strong Branch Productions. We have 2 podcasts out. One of them is a sci-fi comedy called The Scientific Adventure. And where can you find me? At AlexyQuest, like Galaxy Quest, but with my name, on Twitter, TikTok, Tumblr, what have you, everywhere. And yeah. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
I think the thing that felt the most like, oh, this is juicy to me, and also not just juicy, but like seemed to fit the goal of the game so well, since the goal is like to live out your action movie dreams. You had so much agency in creating the narrative that you wanted to create with the way that luck worked. Like if you get a bad roll and it makes sense to keep that roll bad, you could just go with it. But the fact that you could change it, but at a cost, like, and there was like enough luck that you could do that. Because, you know, when you get a lot of games where there's like a re-roll option, you only get one and then you don't use it because it's like but this having so much luck, it wasn't so much that there were no stakes, but it was like enough that I felt like I had control over the narrative that I wanted to be telling, which was really, really cool. And also the way that it really encouraged us to work together and to use our powers together. I felt like there was much more. It's very easy for combat based or like games where there's a lot of combat to just be like, okay, you're going to go and you're going to go and you're going to go and you're going to go. But this felt much more like we were figuring out together. How are we doing this? Puzzle solving. You know, the fact that our final kill was all of us at the same time was really, I think, the quintessential moment. So yeah, I love that. I had a great time. And,
thank you so much.
Questions. Yeah, I did have a question. So obviously this is like very genre based. Like the whole idea was for it to be around movies and stuff. I think because I just read it, the immediate piece of media that came to mind was Snow Crash, I think, because of like Nuke on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, like, what pieces, if there were specific pieces of media, specific movies, books, things like that, that you thought about while making this.
Thank you. Thank you. Everything y'all are saying is just like wonderful, and I appreciate it. So, you know, for me, I really, really quick want to say I appreciate what you said, Alex, about agency, because it was one of the things that we wanted to do with this is we wanted to literally have you playing in a movie. That's why, you know, Steve and Yuri, it's their story from kind of start to finish, which helps you all move along the story. And that's, to me, what was important about making something that people can play over the course of one night, because I want everyone to have the opportunity to have a hero moment, to do like the cool stuff, and also be able to make a kill all together in the end in a real cinematic fashion. I also want to help you kind of understand where everyone is in the story and move that story along. So that means the world to me that you got to experience that, and what you said, Alex. Thank you. So for me, I grew up watching like action movies. I love watching action movies. I actually, like, the other night I watched Under Siege. Like, I couldn't sleep, and it was on Netflix, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and it was exactly what I thought it was gonna be. But like for me, The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser movie, The Mummy, is a big movie. Big Trouble in Little China, with
Kurt Russell.
With Kurt Russell. You know, movies like that, Indiana Jones, Die Hard, like the stuff, the things that you remember most from these movies are that one big action moment. And so that's the kind of thing like I wanted to be able to bring to the table. I wanted to give everyone the opportunity to like, yeah, I'm going to like put all this stuff together and 18 my way out of it. And I've had people do that when the general store scenes, they're like, I'm going to put down my guns and I'm going to take all this crap and I'm going to put it together and build something that I'm going to use against these creatures. And I wanted to give everyone the opportunity to do stuff like that. So, you know, I grew up reading comic books. You know, I used to love G.I. Joe comics when I was a kid. I grew up reading G.I. Joe. And I wanted people to have the opportunity to do those kind of things. And so that's kind of like, you know, I get a lot of my inspiration from music. So if you actually read the book, each part of each episode is kind of a nod to a song or like a line from a song that really kind of fits the mood of the moment. Certain things are just really tied into the game, but for the most part, like it all does really come back to songs and music for me, and rock and roll and heavy metal and stuff like that. So, but that's generally, you know, kind of what I grew up being into and what I'm still into to this day.
Awesome. I love it. Just a reminder, if any of you watching have a question, go ahead and type it into the chat, pretty much wherever you're watching. If you're watching live right now, I should be able to see it. Or if you want to type it into the comments later on, if you're catching this after the fact, go ahead and do that also too. We've got a couple more minutes. Also, if you haven't yet, hit follow and then hit ! Spy Life to get an entertainment chance to win a copy of the game. We're going to announce that in just a few moments. This is your last chance if you haven't yet. If you've already done it, don't worry. If you accidentally do it again, it's not going to ruin anything. You don't get extra entries, but just FYI. Hit follow and then hit ! Spy Life to get entered in. I had a blast. I think my question on cinematic games is always, what is that going to mean for the author, especially like when you look at the size of Rocket to Russia. It's not a huge book, right? So a lot of cinematic systems that come out are still very extensive, and they spend a lot of time trying to describe moves or different things that you can do, all of which I tend to view as wasted space, because the best thing about a cinematic system is, in the moment, you're not worried about the specifics of the timing or the logic or the physics of the world. You're worried about how cool is this as a scene and as a shot. And so naming all those things in advance oftentimes for me is very unhelpful, because then you're actually hemming people in. And I think you hit that really well. And then the other major thing, and I want to build on what Alex said, is lots of times cinematic games will suffer because there's a lot that's put on the runner, and then it can feel very much like railroading. You hit a really just amazing mean of broad player agency by not nailing things down, with tons of great flavor text. Here's what the game runner reads and says that advances the scene. And I think that actually is my question. Like, how much of that is, because I didn't read the adventure section because we were going to play through it, how much of that is in the runner side, and how much of that is like the epilogue was phenomenal, but all those cutscene pieces, because I think that helps keep a cinematic thing on scale when you have those beat moments where it's like, okay, now that you've entered into this mode of play, I'm going to narrate you through this sequence of events. I love that, and I thought you hit just the perfect mean of this phenomenal player agency that Alex had on, but also the GM having these moments, or the runner having these moments where they're able to describe what's happening in the cutscene. So how much of that is kind of prepped, or how much of that is just like, this is Hambone being a really great GM, being able to throw this stuff out?
So I read verbatim most of the things that are in the book as far as cutscenes go. That's word for word. One thing, I always want players to be able to play and not have to worry about, like, okay, but what do I do now? Like, I would much rather people come to the table or come to the screen and be like, I want to do this flippy stuff. I don't know how to do it. And I'll just be like, just roll this one dice. Just let me know what you do. And then if it's really like just absolutely bonkers, I will make you fill the plot hole in 2 sentences.
Right.
And give you the opportunity to be creative and find a way to do it. But I'm not going to ever say no. You know, there's very few instances, like, just, it's got to be absolutely game breaking. Like, I'm going to set this nuke off. Well, then you've ruined the party for everybody. Right. But all the cutscene stuff, it's factored in there. Like, you know, say if like a boss gets down to like a certain number of hit points, this happens, and read this. So like so I read a bit about, so you know what Steve and Yuri are doing in the background. A lot of stuff when I said Steve and Yuri are doing this, that's not really in the book, but it's the idea of whenever you play with people who have NPCs, you're kind of like, well, why doesn't that guy help? Like, what's that guy doing? So I always, you know, there's several parts where they're mentioned, but other times I'll just say they're in the background doing something to help really flesh out the rest of the scene and keep things moving for everybody. But, you know, all the cutscene stuff is, things will happen which will set off those cutscene things, and the game runner will read, you know, either verbatim or they'll vamp their way through it, but it's sequenced in there, so you have a balance of everyone doing the cool stuff that they want to do, but also keeping it just on rails enough to keep it moving forward, so no one's sitting there like twiddling their thumbs like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. You know, to keep it not obtuse.
Like I said, and it was absolutely, I wasn't doing it to test anything out. I was just like, yeah, my character is not interested in this monologue, and so I shot the walkie-talkie because, like, he doesn't want to do this right now. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on at this weird base that we're at. I'll deal with, I mean, obviously we're going to deal with the Jade Sniper. I just don't want to do that, like, deal with that right now. But I mean, your handling of it was great. The flow was great. And then, like, it was
it's a long monologue.
Yeah, it's fine. Like their other characters would have been playing would have been like if I had been playing a brainy character who's going to try to outthink this person, I would have soaked up every single piece of it because I would have wanted all that information.
It's a long one, and 1 in 4 people shoot the Amphicora with the walkie-talkie.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
And like I showed monster illustrations today, but there's a lot of other cool illustrations in there that I want to just keep for the people who are going to like actually read the
Yeah,
book.
absolutely.
But there's a shot of the Amphicora that Cheese Hasselberger drew, which is amazing. Cheese Hasselberger did a lot of great work in this book. Sally Canarino, Marie Enger, Nick Tefani, Skull Dixon did all the maps and did a great piece in this book. My buddy Lou Moore did a great piece. But like all the scenery stuff, all the scenes. But 1 in 4 shoot the Amphicora. This is the first thing I've ever really written. So I was like, I'm gonna write a villain monologue. I'm gonna write a long ass villain monologue, and like just to see how many people will listen to the end.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It was mostly to make myself pop, and I pop every time they shoot that Amphicora.
No, it's like I said, it's still like it was still really good because like I said, it depends on who the characters are going to approach, and it was again one of those moments where you did a great job of like ushering them out. Like that's where the 2 NPCs came into play. They're like, oh, we like why aren't you firing at like you know what I mean? It was a great logical escalation. Like those types of scenes only feel awkward when they're written awkwardly or written at GM fiat, as opposed to this 100% matches all the logic that we've established so far in this space. And it was just so great to all of a sudden have me being like, I'm leaning in and putting this in the glove box, like while everybody else is coming out and starting to fire at this guy and being like, oh, the thing I didn't feel trapped in at all. I was just like, no, this 100% makes sense that everybody now thinks I'm getting in the thing to chase after him when that was 100% not my intent. And now, yeah, I'm just going to go along because of course. And so like, again, part of it was flow, but that mix of actual actual written scene, background players and player agency. It's such a miss in so many games that are presented as cinematic things, and you have to give the right mix of tools to the GM to be able to do that. And I really do feel like Rocket to Russia and what it looks like you're building out in 3-2-1 action is headed in exactly the right direction for that. So I'm thrilled with it. And that's my last question, since we haven't had any other ones come in, what can we expect next in 3-2-1 action? Because I know this is basically the prequel adventure. What are we looking forward to as things come out?
So in October, we're going to launch Point Nemo. It's our next Kickstarter. It's our next game. Point Nemo is actually the story I started writing. And when George got involved and George helped me, revamp the thing and revamp the story, he's like, well, Zine Quest is coming up. Let's just do a short little prequel to Point Nemo. And then we wrote 99 pages. Like the book itself, it doesn't seem like a lot, but outside of the forward and outside of the safety tools, it's a 99-page book. So it turned out to be a little bigger than we thought it was going to be. But Point Nemo takes place 2 years after the events of Rocket to Russia. The last epilogue, you saw a documentary film crew is headed there to film something about the spaceship graveyard, and they end up having to fight their way off the island, encountering new creatures, new monsters, and really finishing off the story that we started in Rocket to Russia. Outside of that, we're in the process of starting to write our horror adventure. So late winter of next year is going to be 3-2-1 Horror, which is going to be a game just like this with a take on horror. And we're going to just keep writing different types of stories and systems as the years go on.
Awesome. And we have a lot of designers and other people and aspiring designers who play on or watch the channel. If somebody wants to look at 3-2-1 action as a system to write in, is it okay if they reach out to contact you? If they're like, hey, I want to work with y'all on this, I've got an idea for something like that. And what's the best way to do that?
You could hit me up, John, at 321actiongames.com. We're not taking pitches right now just yet because we're actually in the process of. So we're finishing up Point Nemo. We got most of the art in, and we're just tightening up some of the things before it goes to edit. We have a rules book coming out. Spoilers, the first people to hear about this. We have a rules book coming out. It's essentially the rules from here with a new layout and from a friend of ours is taking care of us, so that people just have a separate rule book they can just read and start working on running their own games off of. We have a style guide that we're working on for people to start, for us to be able to approach people. People start coming to us to potentially write adventures for 321 Action. But yeah, if you want to learn more about 321 Action, please feel free to hit me up, John at 321actiongames.com. I'm always happy to chat with people about our game. Me and George, we're really proud of the work we did together. Like, I could not have done this without George, and I'm so happy I got to make a game with my best friend. So
that's awesome. We are going to close out that giveaway right now, so no more entries on that, and we are going to go ahead and pick a winner. And we've got Rat in Jeans, who has one. Rat, go ahead and reach out to me here or over on Twitter, and I'll get you hooked up with John, and he'll get that game sent out to you. Go ahead and shoot me that message. Thanks for hanging out with us today and being so active in the chat. Rat was a huge fan of everything that was going on the whole way through, so I'm so glad that you won.
Oh, thanks, Rat.
And so, yeah, reach out to us also. A couple last minute things. Alex, did you think of your question or not?
Oh no, I
That's
didn't.
cool.
But again, it was just really. I will say this because to directly to you, John, this time is that like I would play this adventure again.
100%.
Like instantly, like knowing what was coming. I think what's cool is that like it would be fun to play as a brainy, but instead of 3 idiots, like somebody who might actually like ask a scientist a question instead of grab something. But like
Thanks,
this was a great time.
My character wasn't an idiot, just wasn't a brainiac.
Fair enough.
I will tell you the one thing that I was really important to me about 321 Action is that if you die, it's not a big deal because it's so easy to roll up a character and say it would just be another soldier on the island just joins the party. Or for like, you know, if you're in the city, it's just like, well, your character died. Well, now like another detective shows up or something like,
yeah,
it's, you're never going to have to sit there and be like, well, my character died. My night is over. I might as well just jump on like Twitter. It's like, no, just roll up. You could roll up a new character in 2 minutes and be back in the game within 10. So no one's going to be like left bored.
And there's plenty of great pre-gens that come in the game as well. So if you're early if you're not ready for that, you can just grab one and go. Just a couple quick announcements. Tomorrow, we are playing a story game called The Price of Coal. It's an exploration of labor rights, what things actually cost, how the human impact of that, and specifically the historic event of the Battle of Blair Mountain. It is a storytelling game that strikes me as being in the vein of For the Queen and other great games, but with a very specific narrative path rooted in some major issues. It's live on Kickstarter right now. We're very excited to be playing with Jen Attic tomorrow for that. Also, right now, we have our own game up over on Gamefound. If you want to help support the channel, a great way to do that is by supporting some of the games we make, which is to head over in this situation as I turn down that background audio, because there is some on this particular slide, and head over to ttrpg.link/DWGLive to help support the game. I'll drop that link in the chat in just 1 minute, along with the link again for all the stuff for 321 Action Games. But with that said, we have never figured out a great way to end the stream here, so we just wave at the camera until I take us off air. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thanks,
We'll catch you soon.